Thank you very much. Calling this meeting to order exactly 6 p.m. It's the RM of Springfield meeting agenda for our planning meeting for June the 25th of 2026. And I'm Mayor Patrick Therrien. All of council is present, and I'll introduce them. To my right in descending order is Deputy Mayor Fuel, Councillors Kaczynski, Miller, and Warren. I just want to maybe make a comment there. I want to congratulate Springfield graduates of class of 2026 who graduated today at the Club Regent there. I'm doing that now because it'll be another week and a half before we're back in the council on a regular council meeting there. So congratulations to that class, and hopefully not hopefully, we'll have our graduations here in our new recreational center in 2028 there. So if I can go to approval of the agenda, please. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Fuel and Warren. Any additions or comments with regards to the agenda? And I see none. If I can pose the question, those in support with a show of hands. That is supported. Then if we can go to adoption of the minutes, please. That's item 4. If everybody's got one of these there, but we're on item 4 now. If the new people who have come in there, if you can put your phones on vibrate or off, whatever you'd like there. If we can get the adoption of the minutes, item 4, can I get a mover or seconder for adoption of the minutes? Fuel and Warren. Any additions or comments with regards to adoption of the minutes? And I see none. Can I just get a show of hands of those in support first? That is unanimous and so carried. And now we'll get into the public hearing portion there, folks, and those online and in the audience. I'll have to read this there. The public hearing matter will now be heard under the Planning Act. Council wishes to thank you for attending this evening and taking interest in your community. The public hearing process is as follows. The public notice will be read out indicating the intent of the application. The development officer will provide a summary and information pertaining to the proposal. That'll be Dan Doucette to my left. Those that wish to make a presentation and speak on a planning matter must sign in, state your name, and come to the podium here. You'll be given an opportunity to make a presentation or to speak on the matter presented before council. Opportunity for presentation or to speak on the matter will be in the following order. First will be the applicant will speak or make presentation on a proposed application. The next will be inquiries. This will give the opportunity to ask for a clarification on what the planning matter proposed. Those in favor, this will give those that are in favor the opportunity to speak. And last is those in opposition. This will give those that are in opposition the opportunity to speak. When you begin speaking, please state your name and address. A reminder that at all times you direct your comments or questions to myself, the chairperson. Once everyone has had an opportunity to speak, council may close the public hearing on this matter, after which further input from the public will not be permitted for legal reasons. It is important that if you wish to speak and be heard on a planning matter, now is the time to make representation. Again, once I, the chairperson, close the public hearing, no further discussion will be allowed. Our first item there will be Mr. Neufeld. And I guess if I could clarify on here, I presume that this a lot of people may be here for this application, which is 5.1 on the agenda. We've gotten all the letters of support and the letters of opposition. So that said, we read all through this there. If somebody is satisfied with that, they still have an opportunity to come up to the podium and state that again. But again, we've all read it there, but if somebody wants to do so, they're more than within their right to do so. But if you wish to just come up to the podium and say, I'm opposed, I'm Patrick Tarian, I'm opposing it as per my letter, you have that right to do so. So I'm not going to narrow down anybody's ability to talk. They can talk anytime that they want with regards to the podium there. So that said, we'll begin our public hearing on this matter, 5.1. That's conditional use 2515, an aircraft landing field under Neufeld. Can I get a mover or seconder for that, please? That's Warren and Fuel.
We have conditional use 26-15. The proposal is to permit an aircraft landing field on the land as per section 8431 within the AG Agricultural General Zoning District. This is located at 29079 Melrose Road in the southwest quarter of 36125. Mr. Neufeld is requesting council's approval to operate an aircraft landing field at 29079 Melrose Road. The irregular shaped 5.9 acre parcel contains a principal residence and 4 accessory buildings in the southeast end of their property. Cooks Creek runs along the eastern limits of the subject property. The intention is to operate the private landing aircraft field as an unregistered aerodrome. It has been a lifelong dream for Mr. Neufeld to become a pilot and explore Canada by airplane. He acquired his private pilot's license in 2022 and purchased a small 2-seater aircraft in 2025. Mr. Neufeld had provided a letter of intent which speaks about the Aeronautic Act and Part 3 of the CAR, which is Civilian Aviation Regulations. It speaks about an unregistered aerodrome. It speaks about a registered aerodrome and an airport. An airport is a specific type of aerodrome. All airports are aerodromes, but not all aerodromes are necessarily airports. Mr. Neufeld's landing field on his property would fall under an unregistered aerodrome under the Aeronautics Act and the CARS. Operating within the category does not require notification or involvement from Transport Canada. The airspace above Mr. Neufeld's property is Class E airspace, which is an uncontrolled airspace with VFR, which is visual flight rules. Requirement according to the CARS, Mr. Neufeld's aircraft has an onboard radio, so communication with passing aircraft is always established prior to takeoff, which increases operational safety. Regarding flight rules around the built-up areas, an area that is substantially surrounded by buildings or structures like a city or a town or a hamlet, landing within a built-up area can only be done by a certified airport. Mr. Neufeld's property is not a built-up area, and therefore the rule is not applicable. Mr. Neufeld's aircraft is a short takeoff and landing type aircraft, which requires 150 feet to take off and roughly 250 feet for landing. In 2025, Mr. Neufeld performed several takeoffs and landings on his property before it was brought to his attention that there is a requirement for this conditional use permit. This is why he is here asking for the conditional use for council. Flight activities took place on the west side of the property, about 100 feet from the neighbor's horse paddock. The airplane startled some of the horses when it appeared from behind the row of 40-foot trees. To fix this, the new proposed landing field is now on the east side of the property. This moves the aircraft 400 feet away from the closest paddock. Under the CRA regulations, an aircraft must usually stay 500 feet away from people and structures, while takeoffs and landings are exempt from this rule. The new 400-foot distance is nearly equal to the standard. Because the planes fly at a low speed during takeoff and landing, 65 to 70 kilometers per hour, the distance will prevent future issues with the horses. This was stated within Mr. Neufeld's letter of intent. Hours of operation for the landing strip, he had stated would fall from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays. As a private landing strip, it has not been opened, as a private landing strip, it will not be open to the public, so flight activity will be limited. In Canada, setting up a private unregistered grass aerodrome on your own property does not require federal approval or any operational certificate from Transport Canada, as long as it's for personal use, outside built-up areas, and exclusively for small private aircrafts. Mr. Neufeld's letter of intent referenced the old noise bylaw, 1812, while the current noise bylaw is slightly changed with restricting noise from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. during the week and 11 p.m. to 10 a.m. on weekends. If council were to consider this conditional use, I offer the following 4 conditions. Number 1, that the applicant is responsible for complying with and carrying out the development in accordance with any other federal, provincial, or municipal legislation and regulations affecting all buildings and land use. Number 2, the unregistered grass aerodrome shall only be used for personal use. Number 3, the unregistered grass aerodrome shall not be allowed to host flight training, private commercial tours, or aerial applications, such as crop dusting business or aerial photography. Number 4, that the use of the unregistered grass aerodrome shall be limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekends. Thank you, Mayor Therrien.
Thank you very much. Ladies, the back row there, guys, if you guys can squeeze together so these ladies can sit there together. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, at this point here, I am prepared. Is Mr. Neufeld in the audience or online? That's you, sir. Is there anything else that you want to add to what Mr. Doucette had stated there? Okay, if you have anything you want to add later on there, you may be given an opportunity, but if you want to come up there to add more, then feel free to do so. Yeah, sure.
As I talk through a couple of points, I've got some.
Just state your name, Derek.
Derek Neufeld, 29079 Melrose Road, the applicant for this proposal.
Okay.
Could I offer each of you 3 documents so we can kind of talk together through?
Sure.
Thoughts?
For people in the audience, I'll put these up here. Is there any way that we can put these up, Tanya? But just put them in the front there. I've seen it all. If anybody wants to come up and have a look at those. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Neufeld.
Yeah, thanks for hearing me here. As I reviewed the letters of opposition, there was a theme that seemed to come through, and that had to do with safety. Safety regarding the sound of the aircraft activities and the appearance of the aircraft relative to visual encumbrances. And of course, sudden changes in noise and sudden appearances or changes in appearance to a horse can be startling, and that's totally problematic. We learned with the support of Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning and my apologies, unauthorized flight activities last fall. I didn't know that there was this procedure, so here we are. But we learned an awful lot. I was flying my aircraft at 100 feet separation from the indoor riding arena and from the 2 paddocks. The airplane, as you can see from the first image, is roughly the size of a pickup truck, arguably a little bit smaller, but let's say, give or take the exact same size. The speed that aircraft travels during takeoff and landing is 65 kilometers an hour, give or take. When I was traveling, or when I was taking off and landing adjacent to the indoor riding arena at this 100-foot separation, the loudness of the aircraft experienced by the horses that were in those adjacent paddocks would be in and around the 90 to 95 decibel level. And I can go into the supporting data to show where that came from. But that's quite loud. I totally understand how that's a problem. Furthermore, as the aircraft would take off from the ground, not only was there a loud noise, but the aircraft would disappear. It would be coming and going from behind the trees. It would disappear behind the indoor riding arena and then suddenly appear from above or adjacent to the indoor riding arena. You can see the layout on the second piece of paper I gave you of that west runway that I was using, distanced by 100 feet, a 100-foot marker. And so traveling from south to north, which was the exclusive takeoff path that I used, I would halfway through the takeoff procedure disappear behind the indoor riding arena and then appear on the other side. So I totally understand how the sound would become dampened and then it would appear louder as the aircraft came on the other side. And with the feedback from Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning, and their observations of the horses and their just experience through human ears on this isn't a reasonable way to conduct aviation safely for the surrounding community. However, it's not without consideration that I put forward the proposal for operating on the east side of my property. Of course, the size of the plane and the rate of travel are unchanged. However, the loudness that is perceived by the horses actually comes down to, you can see on the third document I had, to a much lower level in and around the 78 to 83 decibel level. Of course, I agreed with Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning earlier this spring that I wouldn't operate the aircraft until we found a path forward. So these numbers on the loudness come from U.S. Federal Aviation Regulations certified aircraft sound measurements from a Cessna 172. Very similar aircraft with the identical engine and identical propeller. That sound level is very much in keeping with, I made the direct measurements using sound level measurement equipment of my tractor traveling at 75 feet separation from the indoor riding arena. That came in at 77 decibels. I made a measurement of an overflying Cessna 172. I measured it at 1,000 feet with a rangefinder, and its decibels were coming in at 75 decibels. And a diesel truck driving down the road at the similar separation distance as their front paddock fence came in at 80 decibels. Now, importantly, Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning also operate a skid steer and other agricultural equipment on the property. The data on the skid steer that they operate shows that at 6 feet separation, it's putting out 101 decibels. That translates to, at 20 feet separation, about 93 approximate decibels. And then at 50 feet separation, about 83 decibels. So the loudness of my aircraft operating at 400 feet separation to the east is lesser than the loudness of the skid steer that operates on their property, and roughly in keeping with the loudness of my tractor lawnmower that I have been using for the last 6 years adjacent to their indoor riding arena. So from this perspective, I suggest that there is no new noise risk introduced with the operation of this aircraft on the east side of the property. Secondly, as it relates to the rate of appearance and disappearance of the aircraft as perceived by the horses, there are vehicles traveling down the road at the same rate of travel as my aircraft will travel, and they are appearing and disappearing behind the white Quonset hay shed, which is on the left side of that image, appearing and disappearing from a cabin structure they have in the center of their yard. Eastbound traffic appears from behind the tree line, and I should mention the separation between the road and the hay Quonset structure and the cabin structure is 250, 300 feet. The separation distance between my proposed aircraft field and the tree line is about 300 feet. And then the separation distance to the paddock and the indoor riding arena is about 400 feet. So the rate of appearance and disappearance from the vehicle, whether it's a road vehicle or my aircraft, with the visual encumbrance of either the tree line in the case of the aircraft or the tree line and or the buildings that they also have on their property, there is no new source of or accelerated source of vehicle appearance and disappearance. I take safety quite seriously. And so, like I say, I don't present this application without consideration. However, the data that I've found collected on loudness and relative rates of motion show that there is no new risk presented to the horses at this neighboring property. And so given the support that I've received from the other 6 neighbors surrounding my property, I request that you consider this data in addition to the concerns of Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning and all of the boarders, horse owners that are so caring for their animals. Just as these individuals are passionate about their horses, I'm passionate about aviation. And my desire is that all of us can coexist in pursuing our passions together. Thank you.
Mr. Neufeld, I got a question for you, maybe council as well. Just for full disclosure, I did attend to your property there. I'm not sure if you saw me on a camera there, but we agreed on it, so nobody on Facebook says I'm trespassing or something like that. So I did a very good scope of the property, as well as Mr. and Mrs. de Kooning's residence there. So I know the layout of the land quite well. I did a lot of flying up north. I was flown. I'm not a pilot at all, but there's a big difference from what you're saying. Is that you're talking land vehicles as opposed to a big bird that's flying around. It's the visuals plus the noise and the startling of horses and so on like that. That's the point that would show safety there, and I truly believe in your honesty that safety is number one. So that's the reason that we're here.
Absolutely.
The fact is, you have what kind of animals are those? Alpacas or
Alpacas, yeah.
Alpacas. There, so they must be used to the noise of the plane and the yard implements there.
Yes, they during the flight activities that happened last year, they did not seem startled or disturbed in any way out of the ordinary. They're all boys, and they tend to wrestle each other. This is what alpacas do. They've got their own characteristics, and there was no unexpected or strange behavior it demonstrated by them through that process.
Okay. I know zero about horses there. I do have some buddies that are on the musical ride, and I've had discussions with them, not on this matter here, but talking about the horses, and they were taking me through the riding stables and so on like that. It's just a matter of how the horses are bred, what I understand. So again, I don't know anything about the horses there, but from what my buddies are saying, the horses for the musical ride are brought up with us they either meet the grade or they don't meet the grade, and then they get used to noises and so on like that, and they're startled. These horses are changing all the time.
Yeah.
And the safety and the kids that are on the horses, they don't know about the horses. So if you have different horses at any one different time, then the problem exasperates there, because you could have a whole 4 or 5 new horses. They're not used to that noise and so on. So that's just a possibility that I'm looking at then. So when my buddies are telling me about the horses, what I understand about the horses, and like animals in general, the noises, if they get accustomed to it. So that part of it there is a little bit of adding to the comments there, and anybody with horses there would probably understand that. So that's kind of my comment there. The other position that I have there, judging from you're coming in from the north, or from the south coming in north, you've got trees at the end of the road there.
Yeah.
So you have to come down at a pretty good glide there, and you got 250 feet to land. You're going to need all of that runway, and you've never had a problem before?
Never had a problem before.
Okay, and you got large tires on there that are, I guess they're bush tires?
Yeah.
So if you got the right prevailing wind, you're always going to be going north? Is that the plan?
No, it would be either north. If there's a south wind, obviously travel
Yeah.
from the north towards the south. There would be no opportunity to fly with an east-west wind. That would be, prohibitive for safe operations.
Right.
But I foresee no problem taking off north or south, landing north or south with the environment in that yard and with the size of the yard. Now, you visited my property. Certainly the way it's configured right now, I have created a permanent fence for the alpacas. And there are 2 trees that are pretty well smack in the center of what I hope will be the future runway. So my intention would be to relocate that fence, and I'd like to transplant those trees. I really like those trees. So move them to a different portion of the yard, and then create on that west side of the property an alpaca fence structure that will allow them to graze on that part of the field instead. Swap the effective uses of the east and west side of my yard.
Okay. My last comment is I noticed that there was other immature eagles at the end of your property there that were flying around. They obviously have a nest nearby there. So and done any research on that at all?
Just observation, given that I, live there, and yes, there are absolutely birds that come and go. I've seen a couple owls come for a week and then they're gone, and I haven't seen them again. That was earlier this spring. I've seen eagles come for weeks at a time, and then they move on. There's often crows coming and going. But I've not seen any, bird nesting that has been permanently residing throughout the year. It's a coming and going, and so if we come into a situation where we've got wildlife there for weeks at a time, maybe it becomes unreasonable to fly at that point until they move on.
Yeah, again,
But that would need to be negotiated with the wildlife as it decides to come.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Again, not a horse person, I'm not a bird guy, but I do know that looked like immature eagles that were there, 2 or 3. So that's just a point I want to put out there.
I would also offer there's typically on any given day 5 to 20 or so aircraft that fly overhead in around the same class or of a larger class than what I'm proposing. They fly anywhere from 500 to, I'm going to estimate, about 5,000 feet altitude. Like I said, I did a direct measurement on the sound level of one of them. But aviation traffic is not a new development by any means. It's quite common. The type of sound created from aircraft must be well known to all the horses because it's prevalent. I believe most of the aircraft are typically flying in and around the 1,000 to 2,000 foot mark. That would be more common, but certainly some of them have come more at the 500 foot level. And when we look at the noise amplitude from an overpassing aircraft relative to the horizontal noise amplitude propagation from a taking off aircraft, is actually not a significant difference because the sound travels without encumbrance from above straight down. However, there's encumbrances traveling sideways. So as it relates to the sound coming from aircraft, again, I suggest that this is a familiar sound and a common sound in the area. And my proposal brings the amplitude of that sound to a level consistent with existing aviation activity and other machinery that's operating in and around their property and mine.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from council? Councilor Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Neufeld, for your proposition here. I think you're absolutely right. We need to coexist in our community. You know, being a member of council for almost 4 years, each one of us would know that we've had neighbors who can't tolerate smells, trucks, tree cutting, and a whole host of things. So it's important for us to have a little bit of tolerance. As a member of council, I think I'm the only one that currently has horses on the property. So we're 1.5 miles west of you, right on Melrose. So I kind of understand horses a bit. In fact, that's where what the mayor said, I have to actually emphasize what he said, is that horses do have a level of tolerance, and it ranges, right? It ranges a lot. In fact, I can give you a scenario. On Monday, I was cutting grass, and I have a small riding mower, and the horses were in fact startled because you know, I came too close to them. But I try to warn them as best I can, but they still, even though it's a common noise to them, they actually get a little bit timid and startled and rattled and all the rest of it. What you would probably also know is that almost right across from us, we also have another airstrip, in fact, a couple of them. And that plane hasn't been in use for a little while because there's some family dynamics that have challenged that. But when that aircraft did take off, and they were there before us, so we didn't have any opportunity to speak to it or to have any concerns, but we were latecomers to the game. Having said that, when their aircraft did take off and when it did land, they would go, as you know, lower altitude to our property, coming in to land on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Our horses were absolutely, I would call it, terrified at times. And again, I don't want to downplay this. I don't want to overemphasize it. I don't want to cause too much terror. But what I do want to say is that horses absolutely are very how can I say, you know, riding in Birds Hill Park or when you go on trail rides and stuff, they'll spook at a deer. You know, it's the reality of horses, and I don't want to diminish that. And I think that's so very critical to understand, because I know your neighbor has, we only have 2 horses, but they have a number of horses, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very fearful that, you know, when you're in a crowd of horses or a herd of horses, if one spooks, they all stampede, or a lot of them will. And so it's only going to take one of them to break through a fence, to go on the road, cause some safety issues. So I don't want to diminish the horse community safety issues. And in terms of noise, as you say, I'm not too worried about the plane noise, but what I am worried about is that all of a sudden you're coming at 65 miles an hour or maybe less.
Kilometers an hour.
Kilometers rather, to land or to take off. You know, my riding mower went 4 miles an hour or 4 kilometers an hour and startled them. So I'm a little bit concerned with that. But I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
One, and again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but to gain an understanding of your rapport of horses, have you ever owned horses? You have alpacas, but have you ever owned horses?
I've never owned a horse, no.
No. Okay. So I just wanted to see if you had a little bit of a bearing for that. The other question is, as you know, we have Lindcrest Airport in the RM of Springfield, and obviously there's St. Andrews and Steinbach. I'm just curious why you wouldn't maybe position your aircraft at one of those places to land into. I mean, so many people do. Councillor Fuel, his ward takes in Lindcrest Airport, and I'm not sure if you can answer it, but there's dozens and dozens of citizens and people who have aircraft very similar to yours that utilize that, and that's the purpose of Lindcrest Airport, and the purpose of an airport is to basically accommodate residents who are in a boat like yours who could do that. So have you explored, or could you explore, or why wouldn't you explore either Lindcrest Airport or one of the others that are available to owners of aircraft?
Certainly. There's also the Oak Hammock Air Park, which is maybe not quite as developed as the Lindcrest, but another option. And as I outlined in my letter of intent, it takes about 30 minutes to drive from my place to Lindcrest or to the Oak Hammock Air Park. So that's a 1 hour round trip. As you saw, my daughter came in. I've got a second one on the way. I'm a young father. I'm a business owner. Time is precious. And so if I spend an hour driving, that's an hour I can't be flying, and I only get several hours a week where I'm not on dad duty. I'm not traveling for business. And so I foresee a pathway or the pathway of having a runway on my property as essentially being the difference between stopping me from practically being able to fly and being able to get an hour or two, even every couple of weeks. Second of all, the aircraft that I own is registered as experimental, which means that I'm able to do all the maintenance on it. So I have a full machine shop at my property. I'm getting into making aircraft parts. And so if my aircraft is stored at a location 30 minutes away and I need to do some maintenance on the aircraft, I may not discover that until I arrive, at which point I have to come home, acquire tools, go back and do the work. And so while it is absolutely a beautiful facility, and I really appreciate that it exists, my preference, I would put strong preference, is to have the convenience of flying from my own property so that I can focus on being a father, running my company, and efficiently being able to maintain my aircraft.
And I absolutely appreciate that, because being a father is your number one duty, right?
It's number one. Everything else is second. Absolutely.
So have you explored, and I could ask our development officer, we have I wouldn't call it airport, but we have the runway strips virtually across from us on Melrose that exist today. They're actually, I don't know if they're asphalt, but they're certainly much better than any that I've seen. Is it possible, or could it be explored by Mr. Neufeld to use or utilize that private runway as well? They have, as you know, hangars. It's an extensive operation. I'm not so sure I would want it, as I would say, a cautionary note for our horses. But reality being what it is, that airstrip was there before us.
Yeah.
I think that encouraging people to be tolerant is, and even if it's myself, I may want to see it in my backyard rather than disturbing a very significant horse operation right next to you. So, again, I would have to defer to the development officer if that's even permitted. I don't know if even the owner of the property would allow it, because I've never spoke to them about that. It's always been their own, but maybe Mr. Doucette could give some insight.
As you had mentioned, that landing strip has been there for a number of years. I would caution council to encourage multi-use pilots at a private location. Then you're going to start creating like a small aerodrome, and I would discourage it because I believe it's just for personal use only, and would not encourage it at all.
So one of the things, and I'll just be very short on this, one of the things about any hobby or any kind of extracurricular activity, we drove our kids to Headingley most of the time for sports and activities and stuff. That's what you do in the Asper Center and things like that. It just is a reality of our life living in the community and the rural setting. And I wish it was all convenient to us and it was next door and all that, but this is something significant, and I'm certainly concerned again about the letters of opposition. I did go through your letters of those who are in support, and I do know for a fact that some of them actually do not have horses, probably don't understand horses. Maybe some of them have horses, but I know that some absolutely don't. So of course it's kind of a form letter that was provided, and that's okay. I'm glad you actually took the initiative to go to your neighbors or some of your neighbors to inform them. That's 2 thumbs up. That's what everybody needs to do, instead of just plopping this in front of our desk and saying, look, this is what I want to do, and give it to me. So I give you kudos for that, and I encourage you in your operation. But I also say, if you could, do you know the costs at Lindcrest Airport? Like, is that a prohibition for you as well?
I don't know what the cost is, but that's not a big concern of mine.
No. So it's more the convenience factor, more than anything. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councillor Warren.
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Neufeld. So are you planning, like, how many hours do you think that you would be flying in a week? Like, obviously weather is an issue. You don't fly in the winter, right? Or do you fly in the
I
winter?
have not.
Okay, then I'm just thinking while you
I
have
have
bush
skis,
tie. Oh, you have skis.
but
Okay.
I haven't done it, so I
Okay.
mean.
Okay, I was just curious. Like, I don't know what an average person that enjoys flying.
Like, I would be at this point in time, again, I've got a second child coming
Yeah,
in
yeah,
August,
congratulations.
and I don't even know if I can go flying this year. I'm, like I say, this is a lifelong dream of mine. I'm
Yeah.
trying to set up the framework to facilitate pursuing that at the rate that is workable with my schedule. I would hope a couple hours every 2 weeks would be, the achievable. And I mean, frankly, flying away isn't the problem. It would be the number of takeoffs and landings,
Yeah.
which I would suggest would be in and around maybe two every once a week,
Right,
maybe.
okay. I'm just curious. I also had a horse and I had my horse at a boarder. And my horse at the boarding facility actually learned to chase trains. So I do understand habits of horses when they're in certain places. And my horse, when I got it back, ended up corralling cows. The cows got out, the horse would bring them back.
Yeah.
But that horse always loved to chase a train. So, yeah. What? Mine?
Yeah.
I had a purebred gelding. It has papers. It was called Skip and Spin, aka Charlie. And
Charlie
had-
the cow herder.
what's that?
Charlie the cow herder.
Yeah, it was a rodeo horse. And it was trained English, and I trained it Western. And when I was training it, it wanted to jump all those jumping poles and not meet them. I will not do that. But
Well, as long as it doesn't jump a train, I guess we're good there. Deputy Mayor?
So I'll make a couple comments now and probably provide a few more after. First comment is I live just right almost next to Lindcrest Airport, so there's many planes flying there. Again, I don't have no experience with horses, but I know there's Murdock stables just probably about 3,000 feet from them also. I've heard no complaints from Murdock stables there, and they have a riding stable and they have many horses there. And there's also one across the other street that has horses. I've heard no complaints there. And again, we have many planes flying over that area. I do understand the concern though, because even for myself, when a plane flies over 200-300 feet above my head, I get a little upset and I can hear it very well, and I'm not too happy about that. So they do hear about it when that happens. So again, I don't see the major concerns just because of the stables that we have near Lindcrest Airport. But at the same time, I do understand the concerns with the horses because I have the same concern when a plane flies over above me.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that for now till I hear the rest of the public hearing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
Thank
We're
you.
going to open it up to inquiries there. And as I stated, ladies and gentlemen, you have the perfect right to come up and state what was already, you can have a seat there, sir.
Right on.
With what was said, we've gotten everybody's letters here, emails, I should say, with regards to those opposing and those in support. But you're more than happy, the opportunity to go up there and state what's on there. But if you want to come up there and say, Pat Tarian, I sent you an email, I'm opposed to this, and a brief narrative, that's fine. Or you can get right into it there. If you understand what that is there, I'm going to open it up for inquiries in the audience or online. And I see neither. Then I'll open it up for those in favor in the audience or online. I see neither. And then I'll open it up for those in opposition in the audience and online. Okay, we'll go ladies first, sir. Ma'am, you want to come up?
J.D. Bass, 27095 Hillside Road. And I was here on another matter and just happened to hear this. I arranged for a senior horse to be boarded at the facility. And you said your family comes first, and I completely understand. You were very eloquent. I appreciate you did everything perfectly in what you had to say. However, skid steers don't fly. Trucks don't fly. Horses are afraid of a plastic bag. And you also mentioned you have skis. You're not sure if you will be or won't be flying in the winter time. However, a slip for a horse is deadly. Horses do not come back from fractures or broken bones, and that is it for a member of the horse community's family. So I just wanted to mention that. Again, I wasn't here to say anything negative and appreciate, your desire to fly. However, it could be done at another location that isn't 400 feet away from our horses. Thank you.
So, ma'am, could you just state for the record again your name?
Jamie Bass.
Jamie, B-A-S-S?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mrs. Bass. Sir? And Sue, you'll be next.
Hi, council members. My name is Darcy Ockman. I've been asked to read from Nadine and Justin DeConing's letter here and just provide a little bit more information as to their concerns with an airstrip being close to their property. They respectfully submit this letter in opposition to the application for conditional use order under the Rural Municipality of Springfield zoning laws. Northern Gate Stables, they run as an established equestrian business operating in the rural municipality of Springfield. And again, I want to highlight business. So it is very important and applicable to them to maintain clients' safety and make sure anybody that's there is comfortable with how that facility is being run for the long term. I'm going to skip a little bit here. Under Part 7 of the Planning Act, council must reject an application unless it's satisfied that the proposed conditional use will be compatible with the general nature of the surrounding area, will not be detrimental to the health or general welfare of the people living or working in the surrounding area, nor negatively affect other properties or potential development in that surrounding area. And number 3, is generally consistent with the applicable development plan and zoning bylaws. Primarily, it is the safety risk of the horses and the riders. That is number 1. There are young riders there. Maratharian, you hit it on the head. They change, they move. There's Councillor Miller, you said the same thing. Horses come in, come out. It changes all the time. They cannot get accustomed to flying loud vehicles, whatever the decimals are. It's that shock and new riding lawnmower is, again, whoever said plastic bag is the same thing. I know them. So they're not like livestock. Unlike livestock raised primarily for agricultural purposes or alpacas or whatever it is, horses are completely different. They are sport horses specifically bred for athletic performances. These horses can be particularly sensitive and reactive. Absolutely. The introduction of a low altitude aircraft operations immediately adjacent to an equestrian facility creates an unnecessarily and foreseeable risk of horse spooking or bolting, young riders being thrown from the horses, horses colliding with fencing, building, or other horses. Again, serious injuries to riders, staff, visitors, spectators, and again, serious injury or death to the horses themselves. They stress this concern is not theoretical. When aircraft operations occurred next door to our property previously, horses in the area in our indoor arena exhibited extreme fear responses. Due to the acoustics of the indoor arena, sudden external noises are amplified by the steel roof structure, increasing the likelihood of a significant reaction from those horses. The fact that a horse may become accustomed to repeated exposure is not applicable in our circumstances because, again, they're not in a closed herd operation. New horses arrive regularly. Many horses are familiar with aircraft activity, and a single horse reacting can trigger a crazy herd response. In addition, we have significant horse reactions to unexpected noises. On New Year's Eve, fireworks were set off 2,000 to 3,000 feet away. Horses attempt to jump out of their paddocks. One horse sustained an injury. This demonstrates the very real sensitivity of horses to sudden and unexpected disturbances. The other point is the incompatibility with established equestrian business. The fundamental principle of sound land use planning is compatibility between the neighboring land uses. Northern Gate Stables is an established business that existed prior to the application. The proposed aircraft operations introduce a land use that is fundamentally incompatible with the normal operations of an equestrian facility. Aircraft taking off and landing involves sudden noises, movement, change in flight paths, repeated activity, with the safety and the handling and the training of the horses. The proposed use therefore creates a classic land use conflict between two neighboring properties. We respectfully submit that a private airstrip operating adjacent to active equestrian facility is not capable with existing character and the use of the surrounding area. Agent of the change of principle. The established principle of the land use planning is the agent of change principle. Under this principle, where an established lawful use already exists, the burden falls upon the proposed new use to demonstrate compatibility with the existing use, rather than requiring the existing use to adapt the new source of conflict. Again, same thing, Councillor Miller just saying, hey, we all want to get along, we all want to do it, but it's established versus non-established, right? According, the relevant planning question is not whether Northern Gate Stables can adapt its operations to aircraft activity, but whether the proposed aircraft operations can demonstrate it to be compatible with safe and continued operations of an established equestrian facility, their young riders, and the animals there. In our view, the applicant has not demonstrated such compatibility. The negative effects on the existing property rights. This proposed use would negatively affect our property in numerous ways, including reduced ability to safely conduct lessons, training, and riding activity, which again is their primary source of business, reduced enjoyment and use of the property, increased operational risks, increased insurance and liability concerns, potential loss of customers, which is a true thing. There has been concern already just by hearing this from few people that they wanted me to bring forward to say they could lose income if somebody's prized horse that's worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 is at risk of jumping through a fence because a plane lands, they're going to move it. That again goes into the economic impact of the existing business. Planning principles to support the rejection, again, minimize the conflicts between the compatible land uses, protect existing lawful businesses from adverse impacts, promote public safety, preserve neighboring property values, ensure new use does not impose unreasonable burdens on existing uses, and avoid creating unforeseeable conflicts that may generate ongoing complaints and enforcement issues. In conclusion, Nadine and Justin would like to say for these reasons that you guys have read, and I kind of tried to detail a little bit more, we respectively request that council reject the conditional use application. The proposal is not compatible with the general nature of the surrounding area, negatively affects an established equestrian business, creates significant safety concerns for horses and the young riders, threatens the viability and the value of the neighboring property, and raises concerns regarding the health and general welfare of the people working and recreating at the facility. Council should further consider that Northern Gate Stable is an established pre-existing use, while the proposed aircraft is the new use creating the conflict. Goes into a little bit more there, but I think you got the gist of it, and there's a summary at the back of the letter there if anybody wants to see it. Again, just on behalf of Justin and Nadine there.
Thank you very much, sir. Sue, and then you're next, ma'am.
Hi there, Sue Zemsky, 15 Layden Crescent. Good evening, Mayor Terrian and councillors. What was just presented a moment ago by this gentleman is excellent. It's said just about everything that I wanted to say. But just a couple of things about horses. For anybody who knows a horse, they know they're a flight animal. The smallest little thing can trigger them off. You could be riding them and all of a sudden there is a rock. And they freak out, they rear up. The next day you go by, the rock's there, they just tittle past it and they could care less. They also have an incredible sense of hearing. They can hear better than anything. But I'd take my horse for a walk, let's say walk about 2 miles away. And he realizes at this point, okay, he's leaving home, his buddies are home, and he'll start calling and he will hear his buddies from 2 miles away. So when there is an odd sound that happens, an unexpected noise, a vibration, like a truck going by and hitting a massive pothole, and you happen to be in the paddock with 5 other horses that are all loose in the paddock, be careful, because all of a sudden they all explode and all you can see is color around you and hoofs. And it's really frightening. So the idea that they wouldn't be spooked by a plane is beyond me. I feel for Nadine and her husband. They've got a beautiful establishment. When I first bought my horse, my husband went to their place to take a look at it, and it's spectacular. They've got 86 acres. They farm the hay to feed the horses. They're like quite subsistence farmers, and they care for their animals deeply. They do have the regular boarders, and like it says, they get a lot of people coming in for lessons, for riding lessons, for learning groundwork lessons with their horses. And the idea that that could be jeopardized because of some tragic incidents that could happen because the horses would be scared. Okay, that's what I've got to say. And what I wanted to also just mention that I'm here as a member of the Springfield Horse Community Committee. There's 4 of the 5 of us on the committee that are here tonight. We represent over 1,100 horses in Springfield area and over 1,000 plus people who own, lease, train, and shelter horses in the community. Our area contains the 2nd largest number of horses in Canada, second only to the Sundry Zones in Alberta. So our committee has been put together to promote equestrian safety, and we ask that council take these issues into consideration and deny Neufield's application to permit an aircraft landing field. We don't feel it's safe, and we think that this facility could be jeopardized, and we love the facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. I know I said you, ma'am, but was there somebody in the background there? She had her hand up before you. Go ahead, ma'am. Yes. Who do you think I was pointing at?
Well, then I thought she was going. I don't mean to go in front of my turn. Good evening. My name is Kathy Taves, and I'm in opposition of the request by Mr. Neufeld to build a private aircraft landing field. I boarded my horse at Northern Gate Stables for almost 9 years. This is the stable that's located directly beside the proposed landing field. I love this barn. It's a safe, supportive environment that provides excellent care for horses. And I feel it's the best place for my horse who has multiple health issues. I've never considered leaving this barn until now. If a landing strip was built in this location, I would move my horse. It's not safe for him. He has a heart condition. He has 1 valve that doesn't work at all. 1 valve that's going, so it's too dangerous for him and me to stay there. So this is just one example of how it would directly impact their business, because people like me might leave, even though we don't want to, because we love this barn. It's a safe place to be. I own a thoroughbred. His breed is definitely more sensitive and reactive to loud noises and sudden movements. He would be the horse in the herd to get very panicked and set everyone off. He's going to be the guy who's going to do that. And unfortunately, moving the landing strip from 100 feet to 400 feet, I don't feel in my 33 years of experience with horses that will make one difference to an animal like the horse that I own. I'm very concerned that it's not just if something's going to go wrong in this situation, it's when something will go wrong. Horses are prey animals. They react very quickly when startled, and a plane in the property next to them will frighten them. And as we heard, it already did when some test flights were done last year. And it wasn't just the tree, the plane coming out from behind the tree line. It was actually the sound within the indoor arena that caused most of the issue. And Nadine, one of the owners of the facility, said they were 10 out of 10 scared. That's not a horse that's just startled. Horses get startled all the time. As you've heard, they get startled at a rock. But when they're 10 out of 10 scared, that's a terrified and panicked horse. And at that point, there's no rational decisions being made. They are in full flight mode. And even an experienced rider could have been seriously injured in that situation. And then, as you've heard, we also have children and adult inexperienced riders who also ride at that facility. And honestly, it's a miracle that someone wasn't hurt in that situation. The horses at Northern Gates, they're sports horses. They are more sensitive. They're bred to be that way. I have owned my horse for 16 years. He's well trained. He is 28 years old. He has lots of life experience, and he's still reactive to loud noises and sudden movements. And we, as their caregivers, we do as much as we can to mitigate risks, as working with horses is an inherently dangerous sport to begin with. We acknowledge that, we accept that, but we do everything we can to not put them in a situation where we put them or ourselves in danger. So for example, we have dirt bikes that go up and down our road where the horses are boarded. I would never choose to bring my particular horse down the road. He has panicked in the past at the sound of dirt bikes, and I know that's just not something I would do. It's not safe for me, and it's not safe for him. In his letter of intent, Mr. Neufeld states his reasons for wanting a private aircraft landing field are pursuit of a dream and convenience due to his limited free time, and definitely understandable. Like the equestrians here, we are very passionate too, and I understand and respect your passion, and I respect the fact you want more family time. But pursuing a dream and convenience, it can't come at the expense of the safety and well-being of others. And someone's dreams and convenience, they don't take precedence over the long-term viability of an equestrian business that's been operated for many years. So for those reasons that I just shared, I'm asking the council to deny Mr. Neufeld's application because I feel it would affect the safety of the horses and all the people that work with them. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Ackman. I live at 28027 Sapton Road. I am a horse owner who boards their horse at Northern Gate Stables. I am here tonight because the owners of Northern Gate Stables are celebrating their first son's high school graduation. So unfortunately, they are devastated to not be here in attendance. But the support that I can give to them is to share my personal experience as an equestrian owner with all of you tonight. A little information. Alpacas and horses are like comparing apples and oranges. Night and day, very different. I understand the research that Mr. Neufeld has put in to his application. However, it is a very telltale sign that he has never owned a horse and does not truly understand what they all entail. The facility, Northern Gate Stables, is a very highly respected equestrian training facility. This is not just your average horse pet. These are show and competition horses that are in training. My personal horse has received many, many awards throughout his career. He is a high-level competition horse. He is not my pet. We do not keep him in the backyard for fun. He is a working horse. There is a huge difference in the equine community with those that do choose to have horses as lawn ornaments, as we call them, because they're more like pets. But the RM of Springfield has these beautiful signs that welcome us, showing the support that we are horse country, as we are fondly known throughout Manitoba, because of the massive amount of horses that reside in the RM of Springfield. We chose to board our horse at Northern Gate Stables because it is a competition horse equestrian training facility. There are many, many students there that attend all different types of shows. A lot of shows are run at Birds Hill Park. A lot of shows are run at various different grounds. We also travel out of province with our horse for high-level competitions as well. The one thing that I would just like to mention to council is I have previously boarded my horse at Murdock Stables, which is located very close to Lyndcrest Airport off Murdock Road. I would like to say that I know that the original owner, he's recently passed a few years ago. Neil had approached my husband and I as he was preparing to sell Murdock Stables to see if we wanted to purchase it. So at that time, Neil owned over 90 acres. Lyndcrest is far away from Murdock Stables. We never had an issue with a plane 100 feet away. That was impossible. It was many, many, many acres away. My biggest concern with Mr. Neufeld's property is that it is under 6 acres of an irregular shaped property, and that is highly concerning to me, as my horse was in one of the paddocks right beside his property 100 feet away when he chose to not do his due diligence and practice takeoffs and landings without having the proper permit to do so. I'm not thrilled that my high-level competition, been there, done that, is still a horse. As everyone has said, they're prey animals. They get spooked. That's their natural reaction. Fear and flight. They want to run when there's something scary, and that's natural, that no training can eliminate from a horse. The biggest thing is for sure safety of the people who are handling these horses, as well as the riders of the horses. But I'm also concerned about the health and well-being of my horse. All of these horses were born on farms. They are used to machinery and tractors right from day one. They are not spooked by Justin and Nadine's tractor or skid steer. That is part of their everyday life. Mr. Neufeld stood up here himself and told us all that his intention to fly is going to be irregular timings. That's a huge red flag for me and a concern because there's not going to be consistency. Horses thrive off of routine. Routine is what their lives are about. We feed them at the same time. We work with them at the same time. That's how their lives function at an equestrian facility that is training these horses to be competition horses. So I would like to implore the council to understand the difference between generalized horses that people have in their backyards versus an actual equestrian facility that is teaching a lot of different people to work with their horses, train them, strive for goals, achieve those goals by attending shows, going out of province, traveling with their horses, you name it. It's amazing. In the 13 years that Justin and Nadine have been running their equestrian training facility, they have personally taught hundreds of students. They have an amazing program from kids that are in elementary all the way to seniors. Safety is number one for us, but the care and the concern that we have for all of our horses should not go unnoticed at all. There is not much more that I can say to that other than the fact that it has been my lifelong dream to be an equestrian owner. And I am so proud to be a part of Northern Gates Stables. If this airstrip is allowed, I will be moving my horse. And I'm very disappointed about that because we love the care that we get. Justin and Nadine work above and beyond, not just for us as boarders, but truly care about each one of our horses. And that's why we are all here, is to support them. And that the fact is that their dream of owning this equestrian training facility is actually their livelihood. This is going to affect them financially when many boarders start to leave and other people will not board at their facility if this is passed. I am strongly opposed to this because I am standing here in front of you as an equestrian owner. I own a horse who lives there, who was scared out of his mind when Mr. Neufeld took his plane and practiced takeoffs and landings without a permit, without letting Justin and Nadine know ahead of time. It is not fair to any of us. It compromised a lot of our safeties and definitely put my horse personally at risk. So please, I hope my words don't fall upon deaf ears. It is very important to be heard that we are part of this equestrian training facility for a reason that has been here for such a long time. And again, it is a business in our community, and I do support local community businesses. Thank you so much to everybody who's been here. I do wish Mr. Neufeld all the best with his hobby and definitely encourage him because Lindcrest is a wonderful facility. I have had friends who have owned planes and stored them there and worked out of there, and I've heard wonderful things about it. There are opportunities, and I implore him to take it upon himself to research those opportunities. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Was there somebody else? Ma'am, I'm sure, I'm sorry. Is there going to be any more, like, we've heard all the facts, I think. You're opposed to it? Okay, you're a horse owner?
Yes.
Is there any new information that I haven't heard or council hasn't heard? If you can go up there, ma'am. But if you can keep it short and succinct there, I think we've heard quite clearly.
Yes, I just have two very brief points to make. It's April Keaton. I live on Willowdale Road. I'm about a half mile from Northern Gates Farm. My two very quick points are I'm in the thoroughbred industry. And if this were to go ahead, Northern Gates would certainly realize a drop in business because I know they take on retired racehorses when they're done their careers. And every time a plane took off or landed, these thoroughbreds would be obviously terrified. They're used to crowds and screaming. They're not used to like objects coming overhead as a prey animal. You know, they know instinctively to be scared of that. So if you were to bring a highly athletic, on its toes, highly fed animal, and they know how to handle these animals, but all those animals, every time a plane goes overhead, because it's going to happen once a week, maybe twice a week, it's going to be at least the first 3 times until you can depend on that horse not to lose its mind. So that's going to be 3 times you're going to be hoping and praying that horse doesn't think it can jump the fence and fails, doesn't take off, doesn't run someone over, or it's not even going to scare a little kid having a lesson on their pony. Another way in which this will directly impact their business is that I use their arena riding. I've been lucky enough to rent it from them in the past. I won't now. So this is now, again, another impact that it's not their passion. Well, I think horses is their passion, but it's also their livelihood. So, I mean, they would definitely be taking a hit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Any new startling information, Edwin?
I'm not a horse owner. I can speak from here if you wish.
No, you have to go out there. There will be no more after this. I'm satisfied the public hearing has been set.
What I want to very quickly bring to the attention of council is about 45 years ago on a private strip right here just off 206 on Garvin Road, there was an incident where a neighbored woman got hit by a propeller. When you have a private strip, you are not an airport. You don't have the securities. So it was absolutely devastating. It was a miracle that she lived. And all I want to bring and urge council is to take consideration of the safety factor. Once an aeronautical is committed to a landing, they're committed. And if something happens to come out in front of that propeller, God save them. That's all I have to say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. At this point here, I'm satisfied the public hearing portion has been met, and I am prepared at this time here to close the public hearing. At this time, I will close that. Any questions from council with regards to this? All right, then if we can read the resolution, then we can have our vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Derek Neufeld, owner of the property located at 29079 Melrose Road, for a conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2615 be granted subject to the 4 conditions.
Thank you. I have to apologize there. I was making some notes. Can I get it read again, please?
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Derek Neufeld, owner of the property located at 29079 Melrose Road, for a conditional use under Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2615 be granted subject to the 4 conditions.
Thank you. With the first, I'll pose the first question. Those in support, can I get a show of hands, please? No hands are up. Then I'll pose the next question. Those opposed with a show of hands. All council is opposed. That is hereby denied. Thank you, Mr. Neufeld. That's how it all works here, but you've been very respectful, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much there, and good luck with the newborn there and the terrible twos. Okay. We'll have to do a rejection resolution. Do we have to have a proper wording for it at all? Okay. So what do we do now?
Yeah.
Can I get a mover and a seconder for the rejection resolution to forward? That's Miller and Fuel. Okay.
Whereas Derek Neufeld, owner of the property located at 29079 Melrose Road, has applied for a conditional use for council to consider a proposed aircraft landing field on the land as per section 84.31 within the AG Agriculture General Zoning District. Be it resolved that council Be it resolved that council rejects conditional use 2615 due to the incompatibility with the general nature of the surrounding area, and that the aircraft landing field will negatively affect and be detrimental to the general health, safety, and welfare of the people and livestock in the surrounding area.
If with that wording being said, those who support the wording as written, get a show of hands. That is unanimous, so carried. Then why don't we go to, that's 5.2. We've spent an hour and 20 minutes on the last one there, which is fine there, but then there's so much to learn about horses. Just 4 legs as far as I could tell. So 5.2, that's conditional use 2616 Helix concrete. Can I get a mover or seconder for 5.2, please? Warren and Terrian.
We have conditional use 2616. The proposal is to permit a general contracting service, concrete contractor, business on the land as per section 68.311 within the MB Industrial Business Zoning District. This is located at 59 Gold Sun Drive within the northwest quarter of 29104. Mr. Taves of Helix Concrete Inc. is requesting council's approval to operate a general contracting service at 59 Gold Sun Drive. The proposed shop and lot will support the daily operations of Helix Concrete, a commercial and industrial concrete contractor. The main shop will store machinery and provide space for regular vehicle maintenance. This indoor space keeps key equipment out of the weather. When not active on the job sites, the skid steers will be parked inside. Outside, the area behind the shop will serve as a temporary storage space between jobs. This laydown area will typically hold basic items like 2x4 lumber, forming plywood. On the opposite side, the corner will store flat deck trailers that are not in use. The proposed hours of operation will be Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Helix Concrete employs approximately 12 people. Daily work at the shop locations is minimal. It is very rare for anyone other than Mr. Taves to be at the shop. Workers will only use the site 1 or 2 times per month to fabricate materials for specific jobs. At the time of the inspection, the current site was currently vacant. There is no buildings on the property. If council were to approve the following conditional use, I would offer the following 3 conditions. Number 1, that the owner obtain the required permits. Number 2, that this order shall expire and become null and void on the date the business ceases to be in operation. And number 3, this order shall not be transferable to any other owner and or lessee. Thank you, Mayor Terrian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Would Marty Taves be in the audience or online? I don't see either here.
He's online. He's online.
I'm online, yep.
Did you hear what he had to say, Mr. Taves?
Yes, I did.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, we're going to open it up to the public now. I'm going to open it up for inquiries in the audience and online. And I see nobody. Then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition. So both in favor and or in opposition in the audience or online. And I see no hands up at all. Any questions from my council at all? No questions? Then I'm satisfied the public hearing portion has been met in this matter here. And at this time here, I'm prepared to close and we'll close the public hearing on this. We'll read the resolution and our vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Marty Taves, care of Helix Concrete Inc., owner of the property located at 59 Gold Sun Drive for conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2616 be granted subject to the 3 conditions.
Thank you very much. With that being read, I'll pose the first question. Those in support, show of hands. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Mr. Taves. I hope you learned a lot about horses and prior to this.
I had horses growing up, so I'm. I did learn some new things, though. I did learn some new things. I'll say that.
Okay, before you get into the stories there, I'm going to cut you off. All right. All right. Take care, sir.
Thank you.
Then I'll go to 5.3, please. That's conditional use 2617. Davies, Zoe Davies there. Can I get a mover, a seconder for that, please? Warren and Tarian.
We have conditional use 26-17. The proposal is to permit a temporary additional dwelling on the land to providing temporary accommodations for Mr. Robert Davies as per section 62.3.13 within the RR Rural Residential Zoning District. This is at 66-136 Stoneridge Road, northeast quarter of 212-6. Miss Zoe Davies is requesting council's approval to set up a temporary additional dwelling at 66-136 Stoneridge Road. The temporary additional dwelling will be used for Miss Davies to reside in while providing on-site yard maintenance, health care, and support for her elderly father, Robert Davies, who requires assistance with the daily living activities due to medical and health related issues. Mr. Davies currently resides in a mobile home dwelling on the site. Ms. Davies already helps to manage with the property and care of the horses. Living on site would allow her to give her father consistent support and to cut down on travel time. A chosen spot for the temporary additional home will not disturb the current pasture. It preserves the layout of the land, and there'll be little impact on the neighbors' traffic, noise, and the rural feel in the area. If council were to consider this conditional use, I offer the following 5 conditions. Number 1, that the owners shall obtain the required municipal permits. Number 2, that immediate family member, Miss Zoe Davies, shall only occupy the temporary additional dwelling. Number 3, that one of the dwellings, either the mobile home or the RTM, be removed from the site when Mr. Davies no longer resides on the property. Number 4, if there are any land transfer if there's any land transfer, then one of the dwellings, the mobile home or the RTM, must be removed prior to possession date. And number 5, that this order shall expire and become null and void December 31st, 2031. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. There would Zoe Davies be in the audience or online? That's you, ma'am? Anything you want to add to what Mr. Doucette said? Sure.
Hi, my name is Zoe Davies. I put in this application to put a temporary additional dwelling at my dad's property at 66136 Stoneridge Road in order to maintain the rural integrity of the land. We also own horses. We have 2 as well in the yard. And as my dad is aging, we have noticed a little bit more difficulty maintaining, again, a rural property. It takes a lot of effort and time. We have an active hay field because we too use the hay off that field to produce enough food for the year for both of the horses on the land. At present, I'm driving out to my dad's from my permanent address in Selkirk, where I'm living with my granddad, while saving to buy a house. So within the house hunt, we started talking about family dynamics and what the future looks like for that property, because the plan has always been that eventually that will be land that I take over and maintain for years to come. As mentioned, the additional dwelling would remain family-oriented in use. And the additional dwelling was chosen to minimize disturbance to the land. Sorry, guys. Like, I wasn't nervous until right now.
Don't be nervous at all.
Good, you didn't kill
We spoke with some of the neighbors and they agreed that it would be little to any impact on them, including traffic, noise, or the overall rural character of the area. Thank you for taking the time.
You did very well.
Thanks. It
Thank
reminds
you
me
very.
when I had to read in church for the first time. I was like 8. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Then I'm going to open up to the public here, starting off for inquiries in the audience or online. I see nobody with their hands up. Then I'm going to open it up for two things: those in favor and or those in opposition. First in the audience or online. Then I see nobody. Any questions from council at all? Again, no questions there. Then I'm prepared. The public hearing matter has been met, and I'm prepared to close it. And I will close it there. And at this time here, we'll read the resolution or the conditional use, and then we can vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Zoe Davies on behalf of Robert Davies, owner of the property located at 66136 Stoneridge Road, for a conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2617 be granted subject to the 5 conditions.
Thank you. With that being read, first pose the question to those in support with a show of hands. That is unanimous, so carried. That was pretty easy there, Zoe. You did very well. So don't be driving here from here. Let your dad drive. Then we'll go to 5.4, please. That's conditional use 2618, the portable asphalt plant under Maple Leaf Drilling. Can I get a mover and a seconder for 5.4, please? Warren and Kaczynski.
We have conditional use 26-18. The proposal is to permit a portable asphalt plant on the land as per section 773, number 3, within the MX Industrial Extractive Zoning District. This is located at 66116 Heatherdale Road, northeast quarter of 6125. Mr. Daniel Maines, on behalf of Maple Leaf Construction, is requesting council approval to operate the temporary portable asphalt plant for the 2026 construction season. This plant is needed because Maple Leaf Construction was a successful bidder for the provincial road contract through MI, project number 7702, which involves the resurfacing of PR 206 between 213, which is Garvin, to PTH 15. As you could tell with the construction activity on PR 206, they are currently in the beginning stages of the site prep work going on. The proposed location of the plant is ideal because it sits close to both the project site and the necessary materials. Although this spot is outside the gravel pit area that Maple Leaf currently leases from the RM of Springfield, all gravel and stone will be brought in from other sources. As a result, no new extraction or aggregate mining will take place at the location of where the asphalt plant is. There's basically the extraction area, and then there's a asphalt plant area, which is shown on council's site plan. As stated in Mr. Mains's letter of intent, the temporary asphalt plant will be used to mix approximately 24 tons of asphalt and will require approximately 17 days of production, weather dependent, for the PR 206 project. Maple Leaf would like to use this site for the entire 2026 construction season. Maple Leaf Construction has previously been granted permission by council via two previous conditional uses. First conditional use was back in 2018 off PR 302, and the second conditional use was back in 2023 off of Settlers Road. Both conditional uses were approved subject to entering into development agreements. If council were to consider this conditional use, I offer the following two conditions. Number one, that Maple Leaf Construction shall enter into a development agreement with the municipality to specifically regulate the terms and conditions of the operation of the site, but are not limited to the following. And I had a number of items, which I'm not going to read. It's on, I guess I should read it for the resolution. So within the development agreement, all provincial regulations are to be adhered to, hours of operation, subject to the municipal bylaws, suitable containment system for fuel being the burner and the diesel to be used, use of environmentally friendly truck box lubricants, use of bag house to control emissions, operation of all equipment to minimize gases, emissions and odors, work with municipal consultants and representatives for soil sampling and air quality testing. All waste is to be removed throughout and upon completion of the operation, ensure 24-hour security, continuous inspections and general cleanup to be and provide the municipality with weekly reports, installation of an impervious liner so that the discharge of any fuel or oil storage for the tanks, have in place an environmental impairment liability insurance policy and a comprehensive general liability insurance policy, and shall name the municipality as an added insurer, and to provide a detailed site plan to be approved by the municipality, to cover all costs associated with the operation, inspections, and testing, if there are any from the municipality, to provide our fire chief an emergency plan, and to provide a traffic plan including haul routes of both raw and unfinished materials. And condition number two, that the mayor and CAO be authorized to sign the development agreement. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Would the applicant from Maple Leaf Drilling be in the audience or online? Sir, is there anything else you want to add to what Mr. Doucette had said? Sure.
Hi, I'm Daniel Names. I'm with Maple Leaf Construction. Just a couple things in the original application. We were asking for, approval for the whole year, and that's because we didn't really know when we were going to come. Due to flooding affecting other projects and stuff, they kind of moved this one up to the front. So basically our hope would be, if it's approved, to probably start in about 2 weeks if possible. And then, yeah, then it would be maybe, like I said, maybe 17 days of mixing and then a week to tear down and clean up the site. So we wouldn't have the plant there sitting all season. It would just be for this project. So some other things, some other, why the site makes sense to us is there's other aggregate operations, like issues with an asphalt plant. It's heavy industrial, noisy, loaders, trucks, and that's all kind of consistent with the area there with existing gravel pits and things like that. There's a couple, I just want to like some of the conditions here where it asks for a pre-inspection from the Manitoba government officials. We've always asked conservation to come out and inspect the plant, but I can't force them to. It's close to the city. They've never said no, but I can't guarantee that. And typically they won't come out unless the plant's actually running. So when it says a pre-inspection to come and look, they want to see it running. They aren't coming to look at it if it's just half set up and going there. So I just wanted to clarify that. And It says work with municipal consultants and representatives for soil sampling. Typically, in the past couple times, we've hired the consultant to do that. So I'm not sure what you're referring to when it's municipal. Like work with municipal consultants and representatives for soil sampling. Like typically, we would hire a consultant.
You would hire the consultant to do the soil sampling, but if there's extra analysis that public staff aren't comfortable with, if we have to hire a consultant, then we would.
Okay.
But most of the time, Blaine from Public Works or myself would review those documents.
I think that's it. If you guys have any questions or open it up.
I have a question because I have coffee with a bunch of farmers there, and they're always asking me questions about that. And I could speak to our CEO and our Public Works. You're going to be new asphalt all the way down 206?
Yeah.
Are you getting rid of the old asphalt there?
They'll mill it. They'll
break it up and then
they might just pave right over top of it. I'm not positive.
Okay.
And it's not 24 ton, it's 24,000 tons. You know, and it'll be a paved shoulder. So
okay. Oh, it is going to be a paved shoulder,
should
eh?
be, yeah, because it was only one kind of base, and that base usually means a paved shoulder. So
okay, well that's excellent. Hey, what about the ditches? Are they going to be done by your company, or is that something that's to follow?
I don't believe so. I'm usually the aggregate guy and getting the plant set up. So I don't want to tell you a bunch of stuff that's not true.
Sure.
So I'm not sure what's going on in the ditches. Usually they address drainage. Because when we bench, we have to, strip it has to be cleaned up, right? But I don't know if they're adjusting the grades of the ditches. I'm not sure.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. It's just I'm going to meet tomorrow with them there, and they're going to wow there and ask me these questions. So since you're here, then I can look like I'm really intelligent and tell them the answers there.
The slopes, they all get pulled back up and re-sloped, but I don't think there's actually ditch improvements that I'm aware of there. So
okay, and I'm not going to hold you all to that, but at least I can say I spoke to you there. Any questions at all, Councillor Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. Just a couple of quick questions. Were there other sites that were considered in having this asphalt plant, or this was just the?
You can set it up somewhere else, but anywhere else other than that pit area there's residences. One of the biggest problems is you set it up just out somewhere, and you're creating a haul road, right? Nobody wants to live on a haul road, so it's using existing haul roads. That's a big plus. So yeah, there's we could pick another, you could approach a farmer and build a big pad out in the middle of a field and pay him a bunch of money, but there'll be closer residences, and so it just seems like a fairly ideal site. So no, we haven't really considered anything else.
Yeah, and that's fine. The second question is, has there been any incidences, environmental leaks, oil, whatever, at previous plants, asphalt plants that you've seen, either from your company or other companies that could see? It's a very sensitive area for water. Yeah. And so we want to mitigate, even though our development officer put in some safeguards, which is important and critical. Do you know of any potential hazards that could happen?
So basically, that site, we're close enough to the city. We won't have any diesel tanks on site, but we will have a 50,000 liter fuel tank for the burner fuel for running the asphalt plant. And it's a double walled, it's inspected yearly, it's licensed by conservation, it has to be inspected, third party inspection that we have to submit. And then on top of that, we also install a containment pit for it. And that's kind of to address additional concerns, which we don't do anywhere else in Manitoba, but we do it here and it's not that big of a deal. So
for sure, if it was a mining operation, I'd have further concerns, but that's okay. Final question is, what remediation or restoration would you have for the site? In other words, I've seen the site, and basically it's a gravel aggregate area, right? But is there anything that you're going to disturb in terms of any ecosystem, or how do you restore? How do you go about when you leave? Is it as good or better than when you came to it?
It's sitting on top of sand, and it'll just look like a sand pad after. We'll haul in a little bit of gravel and stuff for the trucks where they kind of travel. But you know, we can scrape up that gravel if you like. Like that's not a problem. Other than that, like if there was you know, if there was a spill or something like that, obviously you know, you'd have to clean that up, right? So but you know, we're not anticipating that, obviously.
So my question would be for the development officer, is there something in the conditions we should say that the RM has to approve the remediation or the restoration? In other words, inspect it once they're gone, and if there is something that's left, I don't know, it could be equipment or it could be
we got lots
whatever,
of
right?
you know, like we'll be in there and there'll be like if there was some kind of refuse or something like that, like whatever's required. So yeah, like a post inspection and
Post-inspection, is that
basically
possible?
until you're happy, we'll keep doing stuff for you, I guess.
And I wouldn't anticipate anything. You've done this for many years before, so it's not like you.
There are like that particular site, like there was a plant there before, and that was I think in 2010, and there are some little trees and stuff growing up. Like we're gonna have to level all that out and everything. So if you're talking about ecosystems and stuff, but it's
Well, I'm not going to nitpick, but I am just saying if the RM is satisfied, a post-inspection that there isn't some, because we don't have that. In other words, I hate to have a company come in and say, hey, we didn't need to do that because it wasn't part of the condition.
Councillor Miller, first of all, I'd like to say this site, it does not have any open bodies of water compared to a few other aggregate pits. Public Works Manager Blaine Moffat and myself do visit the site frequently. And we do a pre and a post inspection just to make sure that the site has been cleaned up. That is within the development agreements in the past. We've done that to the 302 site and also the Settlers Road site. So we have no problems with Maple Leaf based on their past track record. Thank you.
I don't, oh, Councillor Gazinski.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. It says that you're gonna have only 17 days of production at this facility, but Maple Leaf would like to use this site for entire 26 construction season. Can you please explain how many days are you gonna service some other sites from this?
Just our original application, we didn't know when we were coming, right? Like different construction projects and you know, if I was getting the conditional use today and I didn't know if I was going to show up a month from now or 2 months from now, I want that conditional use to last to the end of the construction season. So, but we will, you know, we'd like to move into the site as soon as possible, and we'll mix for this project, which would be about 17 days, I think, of mixing. And then there'll be a tear down period, and then the plant will leave.
Okay, so do you know the time frame when you're gonna finish this whole operation?
I'd like to start on July 8th.
And so within 20 days or so, yeah, you'll be gone.
We've been on mixing, but then we still have to clean up the site
yeah.
and do that kind of stuff. But the plant operation should cease. Now, there's weather and things like that. Like I'm giving you kind of a roughie there, but like it's not going to be 2 months or something like that. Like we're talking 20 to 30 days kind of thing. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. You can, Dan?
Would it be fair, Mr. Mains, if within the development agreement, we stated that the plant had to be completed or cleaned up by, say, September 1st? Would that give you enough time, or is that pushing it?
See an issue with that, but
I guess subject to weather, if it rains for
like
2 weeks or whatever,
some kind of unforeseen issue, but I don't see an issue with that. Like like they'll pull that plant down in 4 days, and you know, we'll do whatever cleanups required. Like I can't see it stretching that far. So
okay,
as long as there's kind of an act of God thing in there, that if something happens and we can't fix it by that time, but I don't see an issue with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Then if we can just add that there, we don't have to read it all
or
again.
That can be incorporated in a development agreement.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Then I'll open it up to the public for inquiries there in the audience. Mr. Spears.
Darryl Spear, Springfield. I have a number of questions. You made reference to the fact this is the same site that's been used previously. Is that correct?
No.
That's what you
This,
said.
no, I said there was two previous sites in Springfield, one off 302 and one off Settlers. They currently have a lease with the municipality for aggregate extraction.
Was there no asphalt operation in that same area?
Back in 2010, I think it wasn't Maple Leaf. It may have been Mulder.
It was Mulder's, which is Maple Leaf, essentially.
Times have changed 16 years from now.
Yeah. I think I got a couple of questions related to the independence of the inspections. Is it inspections by people from Maple Leaf? Is it inspections from somebody with the RM of Springfield? Or is it somebody who has expertise in this area?
There are inspections by Public Works, by myself. There are inspections from Manitoba Environment. Mr. Mains will also have an engineer overseeing the project. So there's quite a bit of expertise.
I think I would ask for inspection that's independent of the entities that have a stake in the game.
Now that's up to council if they want to
We've had
consider
issues
that.
before with asphalt plants that have, one reason or other, not been up to standard. And I think an independent inspection agency would be the way to go before the site is developed for asphalt production, during the course of production, and on conclusion. Because we've had a history of asphalt plants here in Springfield where the protection protocols have failed. The baghouse goes down and they still keep producing asphalt because they're on a deadline, for example.
Was that the one in 2010 and the provincial rules have changed on the baghouse?
It was a baghouse failure. I mean, they had fumes into the golf course. They couldn't operate the golf course. There was Garvin Road was under, basically couldn't operate properly because of the fumes.
If there's those issues with this one, then we contact Manitoba Environment right away.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
but
that's
they
all I have to
continued to
say.
operate was the issue. And as a matter of fact, what happened was Warren Morfoot, who was Springfield Police in effect, was getting down on the residents because they were interfering with the operation of the asphalt plant, demanding that these fumes stop. So we have a history here. I would like to ask that the 24-hour security be something that is investigated, because I know for a fact on previous asphalt plants, they had 24-hour security. Nobody was on site. I have confirmed that myself. Bob Bodnar confirmed it himself. The person, whoever was in charge, was supposed to be on site, was nowhere to be found. The other thing I observed.
So were you trespassing?
Pardon?
Were you trespassing?
No, I wasn't. I was on the hydro line. Is that permitted?
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Spear,
it is.
go ahead.
Yes. The other thing I observed was that the operators that were hauling the asphalt were actually cleaning their boxes on the site. They may have this environmentally friendly truck box lubricant, but what are they doing with the debris? That's another question. Before they load, they were putting their boxes up and cleaning the boxes on the ground. Was there anything reported about that? I did. Didn't go anywhere. So my question is, it's about security from the point of view of the site before it starts, what happens during the course of the production of asphalt. What I observed is the catch basins that they used were not adequate. They were twisted so that if there was a leak, it was not contained. So it appears in that particular cases that whatever inspection was being done independently or not independently, however, was not adequate. The security was not consistent, and I think the protocols regarding how you deal with asphalt debris was not respected. So that brings me to the question of enforcement. Who is going to enforce this particular production of asphalt from the RM of Springfield? Who?
Mr. Spear, I don't quite understand. You got questions that are, I find, superfluous. They're really not a lot of tangibles here. You're asking for the security. They're going to be doing that. That's their property there. They'll have the security. As for the other things that you thought from the hydro line, I'm not sure were you looking at that property, but that's irregardless. The fact is we have environment inspectors that take care of that those matters there. As for an independent consultant, I think why would I put that on to the taxpayers for an independent consultant when the system is working fine by itself? If you could show me a hereditary or a historical people are getting away with murder and all that, I don't see that's the case. They're a reputable company. They're not a fly-by-night company. They're not going to lose their license over one botched job, and they've never botched any jobs as far as I know. Like we're not all superhuman there, but I don't quite understand your inquiries. If this is what the next question is going to be about, then I don't know where you're going to go with this. I assuming you're going to be in opposition to this as well.
I'm not in opposition to things that are done right. I want to be clear on that point.
Well, I suspect they're going to be doing it right. We wouldn't hire them if they didn't.
Where's the proof?
There's no proof. I don't know why we have to prove anything to you. The point is that we hired this company and they're going to do it right. If they don't do it right, then the inspectors will notice that. We'll notice that. Our guys are going to be on this. I don't see that there's ever been an issue where there haven't been doing this. So if you're bringing up facts that are in your head specifically, show me the tangibles. And I don't think you can show me that apart from 2010. Well, stuff happens.
What I'm telling you here is not something I dreamed up. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm just saying 2010 and 2010,
that's what
you
you're
said
implying.
that was a tangible 2010. That's not saying it's make believe. But what I'm saying here is that we can't just keep on going. This is an inquiry. It's more of a, you're trying to ask questions that I think are very superfluous. I think they're all done.
It's very basic, very basic.
Well, that's superfluous because you're not asking anything that's not
No, it's very
readily answerable.
Very basic, independent inspections of an independent entity and enforcement that deals with the issues that arise. And it's understood that those who are operating, whether it's make believe or the independent truck drivers are hauling the asphalt, have got things they have to abide by.
And they've been doing it forever.
No, that's not true.
Okay, carry on.
So I would ask that we review this very seriously in the aspects that I raised, so we don't have a repeat of the things I told you. That's my point.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Anybody else for inquiries? Dan?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Spear mentioned that Constable Warren was out in 2010 speaking to residents, correct? Yeah. Oh, okay. He had passed away in 2008, so just want to get some of the facts. But the asphalt plant was at a later date. I don't think Mr. Constable Morefoot was around during that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then what I'm going to do now is open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition. So both counts there in the audience or online. Yeah, I see nobody there. Any questions from council at all? No questions from council. Then I'm satisfied the public hearing portion on this matter has been met. The matter is hereby closed. We'll read the resolution with that addition on there, and then we can proceed with the vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Maple Leaf Construction Limited, care of Daniel Maines, on behalf of the RM of Springfield, owner of the property described as or located at 66116 Heatherdale Road, for a conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2618 be granted subject to the 2 conditions.
With that being read there, I'll first show the hands of those in support. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, sir. Then we'll go to 5.5, conditional use 2619 for Sarpreet Singh Gill. Mover, seconder, please. Miller and Tarian.
We have conditional use 26-19. The proposal is to permit an automotive and recreational vehicle sales and an automotive and equipment repair shop business on the land as per section 69(3)(4) and 5 within the MG-1 Industrial General Zoning District. This is located at Unit 5, 80 Boys Road in the southwest quarter of 15-11-4. Mr. Gill, on behalf of Next Ride Auto Sales, is seeking council's approval to operate an automotive repair and vehicle sales business within Unit 5, 80 Boys Road. The operation will focus on general oil changes, tire changes, general vehicle repairs and maintenance, and the purchase and sale of used vehicles. There will be approximately 5 to 7 vehicles on site at any given time for repair, maintenance, storage, or sales. The proposed hours of operation Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Initially, the business will be run by Mr. Gill and one other full-time employee. All repair work will be conducted strictly indoors. At the time of the site inspection, it was observed that the business had already been in operation. The site was filled with vehicles with an overflow on Transport Road. Approximately 10 vehicles were parked on the property belonging to the business, along with 5 vehicles on Transport Road. 4 of the 5 vehicles were unlicensed. Also, it was observed that approximately a 4 to 5 foot pile of tires were placed along the east side of the entire building. I had mentioned to the occupant to have the tires removed as it is a fire hazard. When speaking with Mr. Gill, he stated that he was in the process of cleaning the previous tenant's mess. The tires will be removed. 3 of the vehicles did not belong to Mr. Gill, and will have them towed away. The vehicles that are parked on Transport Road will be removed and placed on the property. A second site inspection was conducted actually today, and I have pictures for council. The tires have been removed, and there was only 1 vehicle parked on the shoulder of the road, and I believe that is possibly one of the owner's vehicles. On the back side, there's a photo showing some parts and some tires at the back of the building. If council were to consider this conditional use, I would offer the following 5 conditions. Well, before I get into the conditions, Mr. Gill, when I went to the property, I think there was 9 or 10 vehicles on the site today. Within their letter of intent, they had stated 5 to 7, so council may want to change one of my initial conditions, number 5, for the amount of vehicles. So I'll just read into the record the 5 recommended conditions. Number 1, that our municipal building inspector and fire chief conduct a building and fire inspection for the existing industrial building to ensure that all life safety, building and fire code requirements are met, to ensure and that any required code upgrades and or infractions be corrected prior to the operation of the business and the issuance of any correspondence for MPI. Number 2, that a development permit be obtained for any signage related to the business. Number 3, this order shall expire and become null and void when the business ceases to be in operation. Number 4, this order shall not be transferable to any either owner and or lessee. And number 5, that a maximum of 7 vehicles shall be allowed to be parked on the site that are for sale or repair. Council may, after the hearing or during the hearing, may want to modify the number of vehicles subject to Mr. Gill's presentation. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Sarpreet in the audience. That's you, sir. You've read what he had to say. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah,
if you can just go to the mic there. Just state your name, please.
My name is Sarpreet Gill. So yeah, there were the tires over there, so which were removed, and there were cars parked on that day. We were cleaning up the stuff, and yeah, we did had stock, and but I didn't know the 5 to 7. I did try to contact them. They said we can't change it right now, the letter of intent. But yeah, then I would have stick with the 5 to 7 vehicles. But right now there were the vehicles parked before I took over the lease from someone. So there was his vehicle, but he's a friend of mine too. So yeah, that's why I allowed him before. But right now I'm getting their vehicles stored up. So he took most of the vehicle, just one or two vehicle which are going to be towed soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it from my side.
You just have one more vehicle left there?
No, for my vehicle, there are 4 vehicles, which 3 vehicles are parked inside, but so on the parking spot, 2 of mine vehicle and the other friend of mine, there are vehicles parked over there. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Deputy Mayor?
So how many vehicles are you looking at?
If I can get a 9 to 10 vehicle, that should be good. But yeah.
Okay, and you're going to abide by this?
I'm sorry?
You're going to abide by that 9 or 10?
Yeah, I'm going to be fine by that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor?
Thank you. I'd like to ask how many parking spots you have on that property for your business?
I have 7. That's why I marked it on 7. But I have a spot for 7 parking. If we call it a spot, we can take the vehicle out. But when we have, I have a lot of more space over there, which I can park it on the front of the cars, on my parking lot. So that's why the number of vehicles does increase in the when we count it. But yeah.
So why those vehicles are parked on a transport road? You don't have enough room for those vehicles, or what's going on?
Before that, on this is the vehicle.
No, this was done today.
Yeah, that's the different vehicle. Yeah, that's not mine vehicle though. But I know someone whose vehicle is this. But yeah, that's not my vehicle.
So why this vehicle is on the road instead being on the side, inside the compound? Yeah.
So this vehicle does not belong to.
Are you muted?
That's one of my friend. Yeah, that's the friend who I took it over.
Okay, so
he was basically there, sir.
So it still forms part of that business.
I'm sorry.
So it should be parked on the property, even though it's on an owner's licensed vehicle, part of that business. When I visited the site, I believe there was 5 to 7 vehicles parked north-south, and then there was 2 other vehicles parked east-west, just as adjacent to the vehicles that were parked north-south, if that makes sense.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Dan. Like he says his friend, but there's got to be somebody that had a license there prior to then, right?
Yes.
So what did that person have for a license? Do we have any idea of what they were allowed at that time? Because now he's pulling in his friend. So we got to kind of clarify that you're going to be the tenant there and your friend's no longer there, correct?
He just came here today to visit me because the tire and stuff we were removing it today.
Okay, but is he done there? Like he's completely done there?
He's done there, yeah.
Okay, so then we have that clarity today that
It's
it's
a brand new tenant, yes.
Okay, because we can't approve two people to be there. It's one person.
No, yeah, that's gonna be me.
Okay, thank you.
Sarpreet, is this car registered?
The black car?
Yeah, that's
the
sports
I
car.
suspect it's a Mustang, right?
The Mustang, yeah.
Yeah, it is registered, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it's registered to that guy, not me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Then I'm going to open it up to the public hearing portion right now. First of all, for inquiries in the audience or online. And then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition in the audience and online. And I see nobody. Before I close it, are there any questions from council? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I just said we're going to change that to 9 or 10 vehicles. So make it 9 or 10. Which number you want, 9 or 10? Okay. Dan?
That is 10 vehicles on site, excluding what's parked in the shop?
Well, it says on site, so to me that includes
the ones.
in the
Okay,
shop.
I just want clarity from council what they want.
Yeah.
Anything parked inside is part of your numbers. That's what we're discussing now.
I didn't know that. I'm just talking about parking spaces.
Okay, so how many vehicles do you need total?
So that is probably
13?
Yes, sir. Not more than 13.
Question for a development officer. Are you satisfied with that? You did the site inspection. Like you've been there, you know how much space is there. You can see
that would be the max.
Be the max
with the amount. Yeah.
Okay.
I have one more question then. Today we have fire lines there. If something happened, fire there, then if all those vehicles parked there, then what's gonna happen then?
Yeah, I was able to drive my half-ton truck through that development. That was not a problem. If there's going to be a fire at that building, they're not going to park right in front of the building. They're going to offset their vehicles so they don't catch on fire, the fire trucks. So the fire trucks will likely set up on Transport Road and do their attack on that open laneway.
I thought our fire chief gonna go there and inspect the site anyway, yeah?
He will.
Yeah,
he will.
that's
Yep.
one of the conditions.
That's correct.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. Where was I? Did we do those in favor or ready for
Yeah,
resolution?
we closed the public hearing and you're asking council, I believe.
Okay. So did I close it already?
Yeah.
Okay. Then if we can.
You closed it? Just close it in case.
Okay, I'll reclose this. The planning matter has been met and we're prepared to read the resolution.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Sarpreet Singh Gill, care of Next Ride Auto Sales, Inc., on behalf of Henry Weeb, owner of the property located at Unit 580 Boys Road for conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be resolved that conditional use order number 2619 be granted subject to the 5 conditions with an amendment to Number 5, that a maximum of 13 vehicles shall be allowed on site that are for sale or repair.
Thank you. With that being read, I'll first pose the question of those in support with a show of hands. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Mr. Gill.
Thank you so much.
Did you learn a lot about horses today?
I learned a lot though.
Then we go to 5.6, please. That's conditional use 2620 for Okiki auto repair. I get a mover, a seconder for that, please. Fuel and Terrian.
We have conditional use 2620. The proposal is to permit an automotive and equipment repair shop on the land as per section 6834 within the MB Industrial Business Zoning District. This is within Unit 7, number 29 Autumn Way in the Waterside Development off of within the northwest quarter of 2910-4. Okiki Automotive or Auto Repairs requesting council to operate the automotive and equipment repair shop at 27 Autumn Way. The property is currently has a vacant industrial building within the Waterside development. The business will focus on general mechanical repairs, diagnostics, routine maintenance, safety inspections for passenger and light duty vehicles. To protect the surrounding area, no spray painting or salvage storage will occur on site. The operation will take place inside a modern, fully enclosed 1,900 square foot shop. The facility features 3 service bays equipped with 2 hoists, an alignment machine, a tire machine, and a wheel balancer. There will be 6 designated parking stalls for customers and staff. All vehicles awaiting service will be parked neatly within the exterior stalls. The business will employ 3 full-time staff members, 2 certified repair technicians, and 1 administrative staff. The proposed hours of operation will be 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. These hours are designated to be respectful to the neighboring properties. If council were to consider this conditional use, I'd offer the following 4 conditions. Number 1, that our municipal building and fire chief conduct a building and fire inspection for the existing industrial building to ensure that all life safety, building, and fire code requirements are met, and that all required code upgrades and or infractions are corrected prior to the operation of the business and the issuance of any correspondence for MPI. Number 2, that a development permit be obtained for any signage related to the business. Number 3, this order shall expire and become null and void on the date the business ceases to be in operation. And number 4, this order shall not be transferable to any other owner and or lessee. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette there. Would Kiki Solti Olusei be in the audience, the applicant, or in the online? I don't see his name or nobody in the audience there. So at this time here, I'll go to those for inquiries in the audience or online. I see none. Then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition. So both matters are there in the audience or online. And I don't see anybody there. Any questions from council? Deputy Mayor?
Yes. I have a few questions, but without the applicant here, I guess we could decide what to add these couple things. This area here is a new industrial area, and I would recommend that council not allow any unlicensed vehicles in this area. I think we want to keep this area as a cleaner area than what we have over in the auto wrecking area. So I would also add that the fence for any of their repair vehicles be enclosed or being in a privacy manner so that it's to the back of the lot or wherever, that it's not seen from the front. So these are a couple restrictions I would like to add to this applicant.
So if that's the case, then we're going to strive for this area to meet that different threshold. We'll make sure it's across the board. Is that what you're saying there? A little bit better?
Well, we have one area of industrial area that's really geared toward auto wreckers and that, so it would be nice to keep that area there and not have that now in our other areas. Have this area more. I use it as an example, like West St. Paul, they have an industrial area there. It's very clean. It's, you know, you drive by, it looks inviting. Right now, if you drive by Waterside Developments, it looks inviting. I know there's a Tim Hortons going in there probably eventually soon. And, you know, again, the businesses there are more like the one previous that we had was a concrete business. You know, it's going to be more of the construction side. So again, just trying to keep the area a little more cleaner on that end of it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's something that we'll strive for. Mr. Doucette?
Maritarian and Council, yes, the waterside development is more of a business, industrial business zone, while the one off Gun Road, Day Street, that is more of a heavy industrial type of business. And I agree with Councillor Fuel that we should have some additional conditions. I've got 3 additional conditions that I want Council to consider. One, that automotive and equipment repair business may store vehicles awaiting repair outside, provided they are kept within a fenced area. As per their site plan, they did show a fenced area immediately to the north. The fence must be opaque and at least 6 feet tall. That's one condition. Condition number 2, partially stripped or wrecked vehicles are strictly prohibited from being stored anywhere on the property. And the third one, again, was limiting the number of vehicles. I don't know if council wants to consider that. I had put that no more than 10 vehicles awaiting repair are to be repaired, are permitted inside the fenced area at any given time. So those are something that council may want to consider for that waterside development.
Okay. Everybody agree with that? I think that's a good standard that we should start adopting there. Okay, then if we can read the resolution, we can do the vote.
Close the public hearing.
I don't know if I did or not.
I don't know if you did or not either. No.
Nobody's knows that, and neither do I. We're going to close the public hearing now. I'm satisfied the public hearing portion has been met. Then at this time here, no further questions will be allowed. The hearing is closed, and we can read the resolution.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Okiki Auto Repair on behalf of 102-30046 Manitoba Limited, owner of the property located at Unit 729 Autumn Way for conditional use under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 7 conditional uses has been met, be it resolved that conditional use order number 2620 be granted subject to the 7 conditions.
Thank you. With that being read, I'll first pose the question. Those in support, the show of hands. That is unanimous, so carried. Then if we can go to 5.7 on the agenda there, it's a variance under 2625 at an address on Heatherdale Road under Bernat there. If I can get a mover, seconder, please. Fuel and Warren.
We have zoning variance 26-25. The proposal is to permit a front yard setback of 71 feet instead of the required 125 feet for the construction of a new 1,530 square foot single family dwelling with an attached garage as per section 8443 within the AG Agricultural General Zoning District. This is located at 59078 Heatherdale Road in the southeast quarter of 3110-5. Mr. and Mrs. Bernat are requesting council's approval for the construction of a single-family dwelling and detached garage. They are seeking the reduced front yard setback and the placement of the existing dwelling will be in front of the existing mobile home. The applicant intends to reside within the mobile home during the construction of the dwelling. Then they will remove the mobile home from the property upon completion of the new dwelling. The proposed location of the new dwelling is to preserve the existing tree line of mature trees and vegetation on their 2.5 acre property. This positioning will maintain their privacy while maximizing available backyard space. If council were to consider this variance, I offer the following 2 conditions. Number 1, that the applicant obtain the required municipal permits, and number 2, that the mobile home shall be removed from the site within 180 days of occupancy of the new dwelling. Thank you, Mayor Therrien.
Thank you. Would Jacqueline or Harold Bernat be in the audience? That's you, ma'am and sir. Anything you want to add more to what Mr. Doucette had said?
Harold Bernat, owner at 59078 Heatherdale Road. Just like to add that we've lived in the country for a long time, used to dust from the gravel roads, lived on a heavily traveled gravel road considered to Heatherdale, so the dust is not a problem. The water well on the property is roughly 48 feet from the property line now. So to the new house, it would be 23 feet. So, just saying how close the water well is to the property line, facing on the east side of the road there. And just don't want to cut down all the trees. The original owners also owned the land, and so they built the tree line closer to the home, and then they decided to sell, and then the new owners subdivided this. I guess there's a minimum lot size, I guess, of either 2 or 2.5 acres in the municipality, so the property line is beyond the tree line.
That's understandable. Thank you very much, sir. Then I'll open it up to the public hearing portion. At this time here, we'll start off with our inquiries. Anybody for inquiries in the audience or online? I see none. Then I'll open it up for both those in favor and or those in opposition. Again, in the audience or online, and I see none. Any questions from council before I close this? None. I'm satisfied the public hearing portion has been met, and I'm prepared to close the public hearing, and it is hereby closed. We can read the resolution and we can vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Jacqueline and Harold Bernat, owners of the property located at 59078 Heatherdale Road, for a variation of Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. And whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances have been met, be it resolved that variation order 2625 be granted subject to the 2 conditions.
Thank you. With that being read, first I'll pose the question of those in support with a show of hands. As unanimous, so carried. Thank you very much, sir, ma'am. Then if we can go to 5.8, please. Variance 2626 under the address on Varden Avenue under Darvill. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Miller and Warren.
We have zoning variance 2626. The proposal is to permit a front yard setback of 49.4 feet instead of the required 125 feet for the construction of a new single-family dwelling with an attached garage as per section 6253 within the RR Rural Residential Zoning District at 24 Varden Avenue within the northwest quarter of 26114. Mr. and Mrs. Vardell are requesting council's approval for the construction of the single-family dwelling, having a reduced front yard setback. They are seeking a front yard setback variance of the 49.4 feet, which is measured from the frontmost corner of the garage. The proposed location of the new dwelling aims to allow for a shorter driveway while maximizing their backyard space. The site is currently vacant. The neighboring dwelling to the east has a setback of approximately 120 feet with an accessory detached garage having a front yard setback of 55 feet for comparisons. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following condition. Number 1, that the applicant obtain the required municipal permits. Thank you, Mayor Therrien.
Thank you. Then would Jeremy or Gillian Darvill be in the audience or online? I see nothing there. Then I'll open it up, prepare to open the public hearing there. First of all, for inquiries, anybody in the audience or online? Then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition in the audience or online. Let's see, nobody. Then council, any questions at all? No questions, then I'm satisfied the public hearing matter has been met. I'm prepared to close the public hearing. It is hereby closed. We can read the resolution and vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Jeremy and Jillian Darvill, owners of the property located at 24 Varden Avenue, for a variation of the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. And whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2626 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, I'll pose the question first. Those in support? That is unanimous, so carried. Then if we can go on to 5.9, please. That's a variance under 2627 under Signex Manufacturing. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Warren and Fuel.
We have zoning variance 2627. The proposal is to permit a business fascia sign to be erected on the south wall of the building that is not facing a public road, and to permit a maximum total fascia signage area of 210 square feet for a single occupant use instead of the allowable 200 square feet as per table 3331 within the CH Highway Commercial Zoning District. This is located at 4 Birkett Way in the northeast quarter of 11-10-4. Brooklyn Cornelison, on behalf of Signex Manufacturing, is requesting council's approval for the illuminated fascia sign on the south rear wall of the building. This is the new motel that went up. While the zoning bylaw 0801 only permits fascia signs on the walls facing a public street, this new sign will help visitors see the building more easily through PTH number 1 East, just to the south. The blue, yellow, and white illuminated flex face is designed safely so it will not distract drivers, interfere with traffic signals, or negatively impact the neighbors. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following condition. Number 1, that the applicant obtains the required municipal and provincial permits. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you. Would the applicant, Brooklyn Cornelison, be online or in the audience? I don't see her on there, but I'm prepared to go into the public hearing portion. First for inquiries. Anybody for inquiries in the audience or online? No one? Then I'll do both of those in favor and or those in opposition in the audience or online. I see nobody. Then if I can open up the council, any questions? No questions. Then I'm prepared to close the public hearing on this matter, and it is hereby closed. We can read the resolution, then vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Signex Manufacturing on behalf of Trevor Rempel, owner of the property located at 4 Birkett Way, for a variation of the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2627 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, first pose a question. Those in support, show of hands. That's unanimous, so carried. Go to 5.10, variance 2628 under Kile. Can I move her in a seconder, please? Kaczynski and Fuel.
We have zoning variance 26-28. The proposal is to permit an accessory building to be located closer to the roadway than the front wall of the principal building, as per section 25.06B within the AR Agricultural Restricted Zoning District. This is located at 26070 Hazelridge Road in the northwest quarter of 28115. Mr. and Mrs. Kile are seeking council's approval to place the proposed accessory building in front of their principal dwelling. As per the applicant's letter of intent, they participate in team driving and need more storage space for their wagons, sleighs, sleds, carriages, and bobs. Because these items are handcrafted wood vehicles, they are used often and must be kept out of the elements to prevent damage. The chosen location is critical because it sits close to the animal pastures, which makes hitching and tackling and returning the vehicles to storage much easier. Choosing this specific spot will save the applicants many hours of snow removal and reduce the fuel costs in the winter months, making their hobby more acceptable. The storage shed can easily be moved in the future if required. If council were to consider this variation, I offer the following condition. Number one, that the applicant obtain the required municipal permits. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you. Would Rocky and or Constance Kile be in the audience? That's you. Anything you want to add to what Mr. Doucette had stated?
Pretty well said it all.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You know, and
And we know about horses.
yeah, I will sleep in next time.
I hope you don't get me wrong there. I full of respect for horses. They're just not my cup of tea. But okay. A question. I don't think you had to go up there. Is that the one with the large wheels for two people in there?
We have a couple Democrats and that's got four way.
What about the two big wheels like Prince Philip used to go around?
Not that one.
Okay. Yeah, ordinarily you have to go up there for that, but I think this is just of interest for me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I'm going to open it up for inquiries in the audience and online. I see nothing. Then I'm going to open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition in the audience or online. Nobody? Any questions from council? No questions? Then I'm satisfied the public hearing portion matter has been met and I'm prepared to close the public hearing. It is hereby closed. We can read the resolution and do our vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Rocky and Constance Kile, owner of the property located at 26070 Hazelridge Road, for a variation of the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2628 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, variance 2628, can I get a show of hands first? Those in support. As unanimous, so carried. Thank you, ma'am. And then we'll go to 511 there. That's variance 2629 under Zadworny. Their mover, seconder, please. Miller and Fuel.
We have zoning variance 26-29. The proposal is to permit a minimum site width of 267 feet instead of the required 300 feet for proposed lot 1 and a minimum site width of 198 feet instead of the required 300 feet for proposed lot 2. This is within the RR Rural Residential Zoning District, which is and this was a requirement of their subdivision application 4189-25-78-67. This is located at 67029 Pine Ridge Road within the southwest quarter of 7125. Mr. Zadworny is requesting council's approval for the reduced lot widths regarding proposed lot 1 and 2, which were imposed as conditions of the subdivision. As stated within his letter of intent, his adjustment accommodates land for the subdivision for his children who have expressed a strong interest in their developing on the land and exploring future sale opportunities. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following condition. Number 1, that this variation order shall come into force and take effect on the date of the registration of the final certificate of approval on the matter of subdivision application 4189-25-78-67. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Joe, is there anything else you want to add there?
No, Mr. Doucette, expressed the application very well.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Then I'm going to open up to the public hearing portion now for inquiries. You can have a seat there, Joe. Anybody for inquiries in the audience or online? I see nobody. Then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition, again, in the audience or online. Nobody. Any questions from council? Again, nothing there for questions. Then I'm satisfied the public hearing matter has been met, prepared to close. I hereby close it. Then we can read the resolution and we can vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Joseph Zadworny, owner of the property located at 67029 Pine Ridge Road for a variation of Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2629 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, I get a show of hands, those in support. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Joe. Then we go to 5.12, please. That's variance 2630 under garage masters there. Can I get mover or seconder, please? Warren and Fuel.
We have zoning variance 26-30. The proposal is to permit a south side yard setback of 2 feet instead of the required 5 feet, and a neve projection reduced to one foot instead of the required 4 feet, and a separation distance reduced to 3 feet eave to eave between the principal building and the proposed accessory building projections, providing clearances of all projections. This is for the construction of an accessory building within the RS residential single family zoning district as per sections 2202, 2506B and 57.55. This is located at 12 Basswood Drive within Oakbank. Mr. and Mrs. Gronhind are requesting council's approval for the south side yard setback and a separation distance between the proposed 24 by 30 accessory building and the principal dwelling. As indicated in their letter of intent, they chose this specific placement for the garage because the rear yard has a major elevation concerns. Building in the rear yard would also require the removal of 8 mature trees, the placement of the garage on the side. They aim to match the existing look of the neighborhood where most homes have side attached garages. An on-site inspection was conducted. It was noted that the existing driveway elevation beside the dwelling compared to the rear yard elevation is approximately a 3-foot difference. The lot has split drainage, which means at the front of the dwelling, the grade is sloped towards the front street along Basswood, and at the rear and within the rear, the drainage sheds towards the rear swale. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following condition. Number 1, that the applicant obtain the required municipal permits. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Would Ben and Samantha Gronhind be in the audience?
We are.
I remember you, sir. So, anything else you want to add, the Mr. Doucette had stated there?
Yeah. There's
Sure,
just one
by all means.
I can turn on the microphone. Okay, you have to get up. I just wanted to say that, yes, I'm Samantha Gernheid along with my husband, Benjamin Gernheid at 12 Basswood Drive. Our neighbor sent in a letter of support, which would be the one that goes closest to the garage. And then I also have another letter of support from our neighbors that look at our property. As Dan had mentioned, the drainage to the back goes to the back, and when Dan was over, you had mentioned about the trees, there was a brush pile and a wood pile. We've already taken care of that. We've cleared it out just to make sure that there is proper drainage, and that's about all I have to say.
Yeah,
okay.
When I visited the site, there was a brush pile which may impede the drainage, so I had asked for it to be removed, which obviously you have.
We've already removed it.
Okay, as for the second letter of for support, That'll be fine. I tell you, hang on to that for the time being there, ma'am. Any questions from council at all? I see none.
Mayor, we can accept that, and then we'll put it into the record, the second letter of support.
That's what I meant.
Sorry, I got the first one in on time and the second one not so much.
You did very well. Okay, ma'am, that's good. We'll open it up to the audience for inquiries or online. Nothing there. Then I'll open it up for both those in favor and or those in opposition in the audience or online. Then I see nobody there. Any questions from council? No questions from council. Then I'm prepared to close the public hearing matter. As the public hearing matter has been met, we'll read a resolution. We can vote.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Benjamin and Samantha Groenheid, owners of the property located at 12 Basswood Drive in Oak Bank, for a variation of the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances have been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2630 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, pose a question. Those in support? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Groenheid. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Then we'll go to 5.13. That's variance 2631 out of the RM of Springfield Food Bank. Mover, seconder for that. Fuel and Warren.
We have zoning variance 26-31. The proposal is to permit a change in land use for a government service being a food bank on the land within the RS Residential Single Family Zoning District as per section 97.2 use variances under the Planning Act and section 704 within the zoning bylaw. This is at 32 Gas Avenue within the community of Anola. Mr. Dustin Olson, who is our facility manager overseeing this project on behalf of the municipality, is requesting the use variance under section 97.2 to establish and operate a municipal food bank at 32 Gas Avenue. The proposed facility will provide accessible food support and related community assistance to individuals and families experiencing food insecurity within Springfield. As an essential support service, the food bank aims to improve well-being, reducing hardships, and connecting residents with the needed resources. Locating the facility at this site will greatly improve accessibility for residences, particularly those limited transportation. Let me repeat that. Locating this facility at the site will greatly improve accessibility for residences, particularly those limited transportation options. Furthermore, the food bank will operate in a manner that respects the residential character of the neighborhood. Activities will take place primarily indoors during reasonable daytime and evening hours. The site will be carefully managed to minimize traffic, noise, disruption to adjacent properties. Finally, all necessary parking, access, signage, waste storage, and general site maintenance will be fully addressed in accordance with the municipal requirements and any conditions imposed throughout the approval process of the building permit. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following condition. Number one, that the applicant obtain the required municipal permits. Thank you, Mayor Therrien.
Thank you. I don't have to ask for the applicants because we are the applicants on this one here. So I'm going to open it up to the public for inquiries and online. I see none. Then I'll open it up for those in favor and or those in opposition. So both in the audience or online. I see none. Questions from council? Deputy Mayor?
I don't necessarily have a question. I more have a comment. This facility is well needed. Again, we've had tours of the food bank that exists now, and there's many levels and many stairs. I think this will be very much able to have accessibility for even the staff that work there versus what they're working in now. So I support this fully. Thank you.
Thank you. I as well support it emphatically. I think it's the old church is just kind of just not conducive for the food bank. Councillor Warren is on the committee there, and they're doing a great job getting this all together, and I'm sure they look forward to a new facility that's more amenable to the public there. With that being stated, then am I closing it now? At this time here, the public hearing matter has been met there, and I'm prepared to close the public hearing. It is hereby closed, and we can do the reading.
Whereas a public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by the RM of Springfield, owner of the property located at 32 Gas Avenue in Enola, for a variation of the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2631 be granted subject to the one condition.
Thank you. With that being read, get a show of hands first, those in support. That is unanimous, so carried. Then we can go to 514, that's under Sadvinder and Kamal Benipal there for variance 2632. Can I get a mover seconder, please? Warren and Fuel.
We have variance 26-32. The proposal is to permit a change in land use of an accessory use being the keeping of racing pigeons on the land within the RR Rural Residential Zoning District as per section 97.2, use variances of the Planning Act. This is located at 58-118 Murdock Road within the northeast quarter of 28-10-4. Mr. Benipal is requesting council's approval for an accessory use for the keeping of the racing pigeons, a small non-commercial aviary hobby. As per the letter of intent, Mr. Benipal states that the animals requested is for 15 pigeons. These animals will be strictly kept for personal use and not a commercial basis. Mr. Benipal has had a lifelong interest in pigeon keeping and extensive experience keeping for the birds since he was a young age. All the pigeons will be housed in the appropriate, secure, and well-maintained structure that meets applicable bylaws. Proper sanitation, waste management, odor control, and animal welfare practices will be followed at all times. The animals will be cared for responsibly to ensure that they do not create a disturbance to the neighboring properties or negatively impact the surrounding land uses. Tanya and I have investigated pigeon behavior and led the following findings. It can be within the research that we looked at, homing and racing pigeons can fly between 600 to 700 miles in a single day. Racing and homing pigeons typically fly to altitudes up to 6,000 feet. Though they can be occasionally climb higher depending on the terrain, weather, and where they need to avoid predators. These resilient birds choose cruising altitudes that balance safety and mostly the efficient tailwinds. Cruising altitude, pigeons usually cruise much lower to the ground to utilize visual landmarks and adopt to crosswinds and thermals. High altitude limits, like I'd mentioned, they climb up to 6,000 feet. The endurance we covered, which they can go anywhere from 500 to 800 miles in a single day. When looking at the traits and nuisance factors, there are a few concerns that came up. Pigeon nuisance factors primarily revolve around birds rapidly breeding, strawning, roosting habits, and resilience to urban food supplies. These cause significant property damage through corrosive droppings and nest debris, and they carry potential health and safety risks like transmittable diseases and dangerous external parasites. We had given some other risks. There's corrosive droppings, there's property damage and fire risks, health risks, rapid breeding, and the attraction to human environments. The owner has provided an image of a text message from the neighbor indicating that they are okay with the 15 pigeons and that they can apply. When conducting the research on the text message, the neighbor is the immediate neighbor to the south. Tanya from our office sent out an email to Mr. Benipal to see if he contacted the Lindcrest Airport. Our office did not receive a reply from Mr. Benipal, therefore we reached out to the Lindcrest Airport. Mr. Thomas stated they had spoken with Mr. Benipal regarding the proposal, and we received a letter of objection from the president of the Lindcrest Airport regarding this variance. The airport was in opposition due to the potential risk of bird strikes in relation to the aircrafts in the nearby aerodrome. At the time of the inspection, it was observed that the structure and the pigeons were already on the property prior to any approvals. I had observed a flock of 8 pigeons cruising the skies in the area. They weren't that high. They were probably between 50 to 75 feet in the air. If council were to consider this variation, I would offer the following 2 conditions. Number 1, that the owner obtain the required development permit to ensure compliance with zoning setbacks for the structure. And number 2, that the property owner be limited to a total of 15 pigeons. Thank you, Maritarian.
Thank you. Would Mr. Benipal be in the audience?
Yes, sir.
That's you, sir.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to add that Mr. Doucette you want?
Yes, sir. So I talked to the airport. I have a message for the
Just state your name, sir.
It's Satwinder Singh Benipal, 58118 Murdock Road. So I have a text message for airport president. If you'd like to, I can send you an email for that one, so they don't have an objection. So the other thing is the pigeon has a different kind of birds. So some are fly 6,000 feet, but some are fly just only 100 and 300 max. So I have a maximum 150 and 200. They go high on the ground. That's it. If you want, so I can clear. They don't go the other neighbor's property. So they already see my neighbors. I already show them. They never go. Even they don't sit on my property. Is where I built the loft. They're sitting there. They just only one chance when the falcon, they chase them, then they try to hide in the tree. That's the reason, that's the time they're going to other neighbor's house. Otherwise, they're sitting there loft. So if you like, you're gonna see that's the green things. So we trained them, they're gonna sitting over there. They don't go, even if they never sit on my roof as well. So they just for my house is like 100 feet. They never sit on my house. They always sitting where we trained them. They're sitting there. They never go my neighbors when I apply before. So my neighbor is worried about that. They're sitting because they feed the other birds. They're thinking my birds going to their house. I said, okay, I'm gonna give you my birds. You're gonna keep it. If they gonna see my house, they never come to your house. They don't even try to feed them. They don't feed in outside. They always come back home. They feed in their loft. Otherwise, they like to die. If they don't, if sometimes they go far my house, 4 or 5 days, they don't eat outside, they die. They like to be die. They don't eat it outside. So that's the way we trained them. So they always come their loft, they're sitting on the loft, they don't damage any other neighbors, anything like that property. So if anyone have a question, so I'm gonna clarify that one, worry about anything. So I have a website, I have some papers. I can clear that, what you guys have an objection. You guys are worried about that things. So I'm gonna clear that one.
Okay. I got a question. How do you train him at 6,000 and to 300 feet?
No, that's
That's their range?
No, that's the birds kind of different kind of birds.
Different species.
So like they have call is a pigeon, but they have a lot of different kind of. Some are showing pigeon, they don't fly. Even they don't go up the roof. They're always sitting on the ground. Some are fly 1 hour, some are 10 minutes. Some are not going to racing pigeon. They fly all the over my house. They don't go anywhere. They fly over my house. Some are going, I think, is 6 or 8,000 feet on the high. It's depending. We can't see them. So when we leave it outside on the morning time, we can't see them. When they fly all over day, then they're gonna come home. They're sitting there.
Come home to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Any
they
other
all
que-
are different kind of birds. So my birds is not going that high. They are just going 200, 300. That's it. I have a message for the president of the airport. So if you guys like, so I'm gonna send you an email for that one as well.
Okay, if necessary, we'll do that, sir. Thank you, Mr. Benipal. Then I'm going to open it up for inquiries in the audience or online. And I see nothing there. Open it up for those in favor in the audience or online, and those in opposition. It's Frank, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to come up here, Frank, there.
Frank Thomas, I'm the president of the Lincrest Springfield Flying Club, which owns Lincrest Airport. We put in a letter of opposition, and I think that pretty well outlines our opposition on that. One quick question, are these pigeons going to be taken away and racing back home, or are they just, the idea is just to stay on the property?
They stay on my property.
Okay, if you can answer that, Mr. Benipal, in front of the mic there.
Yeah. They fly over on just my property.
Okay.
So they are a racing pigeon, but the intent is to have them racing.
Yeah,
but
when we go outside, when we train them like 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, first we train them like I practice every day. So like 1 hour, 2 hours, they're sitting around my property, and sometimes they go far away, they come back. So when we train them 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer, then they're gonna come back.
Okay, that's all concerns I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much then, sir. Any questions from council at all? Councillor Warren first.
Thank you, Mr. Benipal, for attending, as we missed you last time.
Last
So
time
we
my
couldn't
track is
have
a
this,
breakdown,
we
so
couldn't,
that's
we
why
couldn't
I'm
have
not
this
making it.
conversation last time.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting. The only pigeons I ever see are either in my barn or they are on top of the elevator. So to hear that you can actually have pigeons that you train, I mean, we've heard where people let them go and, you know, someone will say, oh, there's a pigeon on my garage. Its wings are painted yellow. Anybody missing a yellow pigeon? You know, so I'm actually, wow.
So it's like it's painted. Some guys like to paint it.
Yeah.
So it's a white. Some guys like painted black, yellow, green. So that's the word. When the falcon chased them, they lost the house. When they lost the house, they need a home. They try to find it. They have a different kind of birds. Breed it on the pigeon. There are so many kind. I think it's over 12 kind of pigeons.
Okay.
So they just who's running flying over the house. When they lost the house, when the falcon they chase them, sometimes they hide somewhere is going too far away the house. So that time they tried to hide someone's house or they're sitting there. So that's the reason when they lost the house. Some pigeon is back home, but some is not back to it. They don't know, no. They just flying their house and they don't know. Some guys are not trained them to come back house home. So that's why they lost the house. So that's the reason.
Okay.
To speak up, who's next? Councillor Gazinski.
Thank you. So you're calling those racing pigeon. So you're taking them for racing someplace? You just house them at home and you're taking them for racing?
Not really right now. So I'm just my hobby. When I have something stress, so I'm left to go to with the birds. So because I just move it from city. So I have it in the city. So I have sold that the house. So that's why I bring it that's bird to my house. So like my kids want to we want to keep it one goat at house. So 10 chicken, but they refuse it for that one because my neighbor has a problem with the sounding. So because personally we use it lot of milk. So my wife saw everything made from the milk at home. So that's why we want to order one goat. So my kids want a dog. So that's why I move it to my city because my wife, they don't like to stay dog inside the house. So
you have those pigeon enclosure. How often you open the enclosure so they can have a flying time?
yeah, they can. I just leave it outside. So if they love to fly, they can fly. Otherwise, they're sitting on the loft.
And you mean they don't go away from your property? How they know where it's property line?
Like they know that.
How?
Oh, because when we leave it outside my loft, when they see all the area, they know that. Even you send it to 10,000 kilometers, they come back. You don't heard one on news. The one UK guy, they buy pigeon from the Chinese guy. So they keep it in loft 2 years. When they leave it after 2 years, they leave it the pigeon. The pigeon go all the way back to China. Is over. I think it's 1,500,000. They go back to China after 1.5 months.
Jeez, that's amazing.
Even the science, they try to how can they chase the house? How can they remember the house? Even I think it's a study going on the pigeon. How they know that their house is there?
Even if you have dog and you want to train your dog, you have like an electric fence, so they stay on the property. How you train pigeon that they stay in your area? You have only 2 acres, so that's
No,
not much.
that's the birds. So when the cage they are small, so we leave it outside on the cage. We just hanging on the cage because otherwise the falcon take the kid, right? So they see all area. So one day when we tried to, like already my pigeon is flying, they're flying with the pigeon 1 day or 2 day, then they remember almost every area. They know that. That's my house. That's my loft. I'm sitting there. They never go anywhere.
And I think it comes down to the hand that feeds it is in
Yeah.
that loft.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere else.
Yeah.
They only eat
If
in that
I
loft.
train them here. If I'm taking my pocket, the hand my in pocket all day, they fly all day.
So how long you have these pigeons at home already?
When I kid, 5 years. So
Okay.
I have it that one. So then I move it here. I don't have it. So then a little bit stress. Then I keep it again.
So can I ask Frank, did you see pigeon flying over your airport?
No, not.
No? They never come to airport?
If they're lucky, final they won.
Yeah.
My one is not going. Even my neighbor, so they objection. I said, okay, no, almost month, my business is outside. They come to your house? No. I said, okay, that's why I'm saying even they don't going on my roof. Where we trained them, they're sitting there.
How often they reproduce, or you?
So I
because you just ask for 15, or it's allowed 15 pigeons. So if
like I keep it the female and the male separate.
not in the when they're in the air.
No, but not in the air. So one day I leave it female, one day male. So otherwise it's too much because they lay 70. They laying egg in I think the laying egg 7 days when they meet them, and after 20 days they hatch the egg. When the kids like that is almost I think 30 days, 30 days they laying egg again. So it's lot of, it's maybe 1 year they'll, I think is 8 or 10. But I don't want to be that much keep it. So that's why I took the female separate and male separate. The female, they're laying egg, but they are not fertilized. So don't born the kid.
So you're removing the egg so they wouldn't hatch?
No, they can have, because they're female, they don't fertilize, right?
Oh.
So
interesting.
they laying egg. So if you're gonna go my house, you're gonna see it 10 of egg there, but they don't fertilize, so they don't hatch. They're sitting on 20 day, then I throw out. Because if I'm not, I throw out, they're laying again. If I throw it 10 day, they're laying again. So I leave it them, they're gonna sitting 20 day, 30 day, then I throw out.
Okay, thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, my question is to Frank. So Frank, you're on side with this now? I'm just trying to get clarity in my head to make sure I understand this right.
I guess the concern's not when the pigeons are flying around the home so much, but they are on the flight path of the aircraft down below. We fly about 500 feet above the ground. I think Dan was saying he's seen them 75 feet, and that's where I've seen them too. Just for some clarity, I don't think the pigeons have been there for 5 years.
No.
No, they just recently.
Yeah.
So the concern is if they are flying up towards 500 feet, even over top of his property, it could be a conflict with aircraft.
Even they very scary. If they're gonna see the plane, they go far away from the plane. They don't never go near the plane. Because the back of my country, I see it, there are some planes over there because my back of my country, there are too high flyer there. So they fly, they're scared. They also very scared. Like they see, I think is a kilometer, the plane is coming, they fly, they run away from the plane.
It's like that, Frank, it's all about safety for me, and I'm going to share that concern. I don't need to hear a plane hit a pigeon and then ended up getting a pilot killed. And I think that's everybody's concern that nobody gets hurt in this situation. So my question to you is that we're learning about pigeons as we're around the table here. And that's why we called this back from a deferred application. So my question to you is would it be reasonable for us to put a 1-year condition and then just review to come back to council to approve it versus just being wide open, just to kind of watch and see and listen from the pilots and that everything's running smooth and he's doing what he says they won't.
Sorry, I cut you off. They're gonna see it just 2 months. I just I leave it on farm when is on maybe starting of June and July, maybe mid of August, 2.5 months. After that, they don't go outside. They're sitting on loft. Or in the winter time, they don't fly. They don't like to fly in the winter time.
Wow.
They're always sitting there. Just only 2.5 months. That's it.
Yeah, and I understand that, but again, this is a learning curve for council, and I also have the concern with the flyers, and so I just trying to happy medium to make everybody happy.
I think it's well placed to your comments about that. You know, we fly airplanes and we're interested in flying things too. The birds, I've seen them, they're a beautiful white pigeon. They're very easy to see. So to answer your question, if council thinks that maybe a 1 year conditional use and see how it goes, I don't think we have a problem if the pigeons are not getting very vertically high over the property. The only other concern is if Mr. Biball take them down to Tinkertown and release them, allow them to fly over the airport back to his property, that could present a potential problem there. However, if he's taking them north, away from the airport and training them to fly back to his property, I don't think that would be an issue.
That would be my recommendation.
I have one more question. So if the bird's going to be there by your airport, I have to report to some authorities. And how about your insurance to the planes that there? Your insurance going to go up if the accident might happen in the air?
A bird strike with a private aircraft, unless it does some damage, most guys don't actually report it. Where you get into a commercial operation, a commercial aircraft's required to report collisions with birds in general. So it is kind of a loosey sort of scenario. It's also a kind of thing where you can strike birds and you don't even know you hit them, to extreme cases where it does a lot of damage. The one concern here is that pigeons are a flocking bird. They tend to move around as a flock. So if they do get in the way of an aircraft, it's potential you don't strike one, you strike multiple ones.
So how they deal with the birds on the commercial airports?
Bangers.
How do they deal with them?
Yeah, how do they deal with that issue?
Well, I think I put in there, Winnipeg actually, there's an aviary close to the Winnipeg International Airport, and council removed that aviary due to concerns, because they are classed as a potential when you start dealing with commercial aircraft, because of the flock size, depending on the flock size, it can present a lot more damage. And they are a medium risk bird for bird strikes, according to Transport Canada.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Then if we're no other questions, then any other from council?
I make the recommendation that we do 1 year conditional use and see how it goes, and make sure, again, that both parties are satisfied. And then that way, at least, again, we're learning here as pigeons are a different source and they come back home and stay out of the way of airplanes. So let's give it a 1 year trial and make sure that or see that's working.
I personally don't feel that we need that. There's Canada geese out there flying all over the place. They fly in flocks there. So pigeons 15, I honestly don't see any issues whatsoever. But I'll go with what council's position to check on it in about a year. I personally think that without that, because they're pigeons there's 15 of them. They're very well trained. So to have that in there, I think it's kind of a difficulty for Mr. Benipal when I don't see the situation as dangerous right now. Birds are everywhere. Flocks of Canada geese, they're big boys. You hit one of those suckers, you hit one of them there. Pigeon, well, it's, I've hit them with my car. So that's the kind of stuff there. I personally don't think so, but I'm fine with what council agrees. Everybody agreement for a year to see if there's any problems with them? Yes? And that's a majority then, okay. If we can add that on there. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Then I believe at this time here, opposition?
Daniel Page, 63087 Pine Ridge Road. I'm registering opposition. I want to echo the sentiments in the Springfield Flying Club's letter, but I want to make two additional remarks. So my second remark, this number 2 is just involving the fact that I just want to speak at least to pigeons. I have actually a very good friend who has pet pigeons. I personally think it's not a good idea to, because I was listening very carefully. Just like I have a dog, cats, I wouldn't have it where I would allow someone that can let a pet get out of their visible sight on their property, especially if we're talking about going upward. Just to be very careful because we are talking about a flight path. And 3, some may not know, I used to work for the Royal Aviation Museum in Western Canada years ago. And I will tell you, if they can't see it, the pigeon's gone. And I'm just saying that that's just both for safety for the airport and also for their pigeons. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With all the council, we've already spoke with our questions from council. Daryl.
I guess my first question, Daryl Spiro Bank, is it appears this operation has been going on for some time. How long?
Since he's moved to the house there.
How long?
Since I've been.
What I observed by drive-bys, probably 2 to 3 weeks. That's what I observed. For Mr. Benipal said he owned them for 5 years, but not at this location.
So this whole, what I saw in the picture appears something is well established. It's not a case where he's come to council first for approval to have this. He's already done it. Is that not the case?
Hold it. Whoa. Address the questions to me. Daryl, you should be well abreast of this. So the question is, that's a temporary structure. I can see that quite readily now.
How long has that been in place is my question.
How long has that been in question, Mr. Benipal? Just state.
Just 1 month. So because I just sold my other property, so I don't have
So 1 month.
Yeah, 1 month.
There you go.
What my point is that this shouldn't be considered after the fact.
Well, I disagree with you totally. He's not doing anything wrong, Mr. Benipal. If you're suggesting that he's doing anything wrong, we have it in here many times where somebody has gone ahead, built structures without a permit. There, for Mr. Benipal to put, he's got to put something for his birds there. So I find no problems with that whatsoever. I don't think that's an issue. When we have people in here all the time that are trying to get permits after the fact, when a structure is built, when something is done, and we only find it after the fact. To make an issue of a 1 month, I don't find that reasonable whatsoever.
No, that's not reasonable.
Okay,
Where
well, that's up to you.
Are you interrupting me or what?
No, I'm not
Yes, you are.
interrupting. You haven't bothered to let me finish my question before you came in there. So you can go right now.
Am I wrong? Am I
Listen,
wrong?
say it to the chair. Go ahead, Daryl. You're an expert at this. You should know better.
I'm asking for that to be retracted.
No,
That
it
comment
won't
to
be.
be retracted.
No, it won't be.
Please, point of order.
No. Don't be telling council what to do. You got a question, say the question. Don't be telling council what to do. Never. Go ahead, ask your question.
This is an established airport. I read the letter. We should not be having this prior to this being approved. That's just common sense. Do I have any support from council on this?
Listen, this is the second time I'm warning you on that.
Thanks for the warning. I'd like an answer.
Well, no, we'll answer it if we need to. Did you have a question, Dan?
No.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Spear?
May I ask the question of the, what's your name?
I'm sorry.
What's your name? Frank. Would you not have preferred to have this discussion before the pigeons came as a neighbor?
Daryl, we've already had this discussion when Mr. Benipal was in here last month about the birds and a goat and a cow and chickens. So we didn't agree with that. He's coming in here now for just the pigeons.
I read the letter. Did the letter say something different?
I don't know what you mean by that.
No, to me, this is not acceptable.
Well, thank you very much for that. Okay, thank you. Then at this point here, I'm prepared to close the public hearing portion. Then we can have our vote.
Whereas the public hearing has been conducted under the Planning Act to consider an application filed by Satvinder Singh Benipal and Kamaljit Kaur Benipal, owners of the property located at 58118 Murdock Road, for a variance under the Springfield Zoning By-Law number 0801. Whereas council is satisfied that the requirements of Part 6 variances has been met, be it resolved that variation order number 2632 be granted subject to the two conditions read out, plus a third, that the conditional use be brought back to council for review within 1 year, June 30th, 2027.
Thank you. With that being read, can I first pose a question? Those in support, the show of hands. That's Linda, Warren, Fuel, and Terrian. Those opposed? Councillors Warren and Miller is so passed. How did I get it wrong? Oh, yeah, Warren, Fuel, and Terrian pass or support. Those opposed is Miller and Kaczynski. So if I got the names wrong, I apologize. That's the end of the public hearing portion. Now we're going to the planning matters. So this isn't a public hearing. This is just for the matters before for council to discuss. If we can go to 6.1, there it's proposal to subdivide under a long title there on Pleasant Road under Marchand. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Fuel and Warren.
So since this is not a public hearing, I'll just give council a quick briefing on this subdivision application. The intent is to subdivide the 80 acres of land into 3 rural residential lots. Current zoning, required zoning, both fall under the rural residential, and the development plan designation is also rural residential. The applicant intends to create 3 new rural residential lots from the present 80-acre parcel. The property is located in the northwest quarter of 4117 and fronts Pleasant Road, which is an all-weather road just east of the community of Enola. The land is primarily treed and wooded. The subject site is currently held under one title. Proposed lots, the proposed 3 lots are currently undeveloped. These sites are intended to be new buildable sites. A 65 acre residual parcel will contain the existing dwelling and detached garage, which is located on the southwestern limits of the 80 acre holding. The dwelling is currently serviced by a septic field, a septic tank, an individual well. The existing dwelling has a private driveway and access off Pleasant Road. The proposed plan provides for a future development via a 99-foot strip of land that forms part of the 65-acre parcel. The entire 80-acre parcel is designated rural residential in the current development plan that it enables potential future development of 5 acres. There was a community planning report which stipulates sections of the development plan and the related zoning bylaw. Comments from various agencies. Terranet, which is land titles, requires a plan of subdivision. The wildlife branch makes a note that the proposed subdivision occurs within federally designated critical habitat of both the red-headed woodpecker and the gold-winged warbler, according to the Federal Migratory Birds Convention Act. And basically their nesting period is from May 1st to August 31st. Manitoba Environment Water Rights License has no concerns, but if there's any waterworks, then a water rights license is required. The Historic Branch has no concerns. The Mines Branch has no concerns. Hydro requires easements. There were no other comments from various agencies. Our Water and Waste Department indicates that there's no utilities on the site, but will be responsible for the applicable rural wastewater levy. There is no, they do not qualify for the rural cart automated waste and recycling system. Public Works had no comments. We had received the recommendation from the community planning, and their recommendation was that it's consistent and conforms to the policies of the development plan, and would recommend the one condition of a development agreement to include the protection of the critical habitats and endangered wildlife species. Council can deny the subdivision, council can defer the subdivision, council can approve the subdivision without conditions, or council can approve the subdivision with conditions. If council were to consider this subdivision, I would recommend the following 6 conditions. Number 1, the payment of the requisite fees as set out by the current municipal fee bylaw. Number 2, that 10% of the property development is provided to the municipality in cash to satisfy the municipal needs for recreational opportunities as per sections 135 and 136 of the Planning Act. Number 3, that the developer shall provide a drainage plan prepared by a professional engineer for the proposed subdivision as per the municipal drainage policy, and shall be submitted to the Public Works Department for review and approval, and any drainage improvements shall be constructed prior to the issuance of any building permits. Number 4, that the developer shall enter into a development agreement with the municipality regarding the following. Engineering, lock grading, and land drainage, driveway access, public utilities, private utility services, protection of critical habitats and endangered wildlife species, and F, if there are any other public works deemed necessary by council. Number 5, that the mayor and CAO be authorized to sign the development agreement. Number 6, that the Public Works Department will require a digital copy of the subdivision if approved, georeferenced in an AutoCAD Civil 3D format. Thank you, Mayor Tarian.
Thank you, Mr. Doucette. Would Tamara and or Rob Marchand be in the audience or online? You're online, sir? Yes. Okay. Anything else you want to add, ma'am? Okay. Then we can open it up for inquiries in the audience.
It's not a public hearing.
Oh, sorry. It's not even a public hearing. So any questions from council at all? I see no questions. Then if we can read the resolution.
Whereas Tamara and Rob Marchand, owners of the property described as South Half 4117, have submitted a subdivision application to subdivide 80 acres to create 3 lots. Be it resolved that application for subdivision number 4189-26-7878 be approved subject to the 6 conditions.
Thank you. With that being read, if I can get a show of hands first to those in support. That is unanimous, so carried. Then we'll go to 6.2, subdivision under Victoriac and Wotowick there. If I can get a mover or seconder for 6.2, please. Fuel and Terrian.
This proposal or request from council is a conceptual plan, which is a requirement of the West Pine Ridge secondary plan area. Mr. Vitoric, in collaboration with Mr. Witowich, thank you, are proposing to subdivide 55.7 acres of land currently held under 2 separate titles. The project will create 8 5-acre lots and an 80-foot road right-of-way to facilitate future development. Both parties have worked closely to ensure the plan meets the 5-acre minimum requirement for the West Pine Ridge secondary plan. Following several consultation and conceptual plan reviews with our planning staff and the applicants, a formal application has been filed with Municipal Northern Relations and is currently undergoing agency circulation for comments, which is not, we have not received any comments from them as of yet. So if council were to consider this, the recommendation, the conceptual plan may be considered under policy 411 and 46 of the West Pine Ridge secondary plan. If council wishes to approve the conceptual plan, I would recommend the following resolution. Basically, it says, whereas Mr. William and Marianne Victoric and Stan Witowich shall have submitted a conceptual plan for subdivision of Lot 2, Plan 58287, and Lot 6, Plan 1583-1, within the southwest quarter of 712.5 as a requirement of Policy 6.1 of the West Pine Ridge Secondary Plan, Bylaw 2121. Be it resolved that council adopts the conceptual plan as presented and attached as Schedule A. Thank you, Mayor Terrian.
Thank you. Questions from council at all? I see none. I just have a comment. The plan looks really well done to me. There's a similar one with Joe Zadworny, next door neighbors, I believe, there. So I think it's a good plan there. So if we're prepared, we can read the resolution and vote. Well, yeah, why not?
Whereas William and Mariana Victoric and Stanley Wojtowicz, have submitted a conceptual plan for the subdivision of Lot 2, Plan 58287, and Lot 6, Plan 15831, within Southwest Quarter 712.5 as a requirement of Policy 6.1 of the West Pine Ridge Secondary Plan, Bylaw 2121. Be resolved that council adopts the concept plan as presented and attached as Schedule A.
Thank you. With that being read, if I can first pose the question, those in support? That is unanimous, so carried. Sorry it took so long to get through that there, guys, there, but that's how it works sometimes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. If we go to 6.3, please, that's a variance order 2522 under Bass. Mover or seconder for that, please.
This is
Warren Fuel. Go ahead.
This is a request for an extension for a zoning variation order that was granted. They're asking for a 1-year extension for variation order 25-22. Ms. Bass had made the application for the variance to permit the construction of an accessory building to be located closer to the roadway than the front wall of the principal building, which she was granted approval back on June 26, 2025. Under variation order 25-22, due to unforeseen circumstances, the applicant is requesting a 1-year extension on her application. As per the minutes of June 26, 2025, the council meeting, there were no objections. The location is 27095 Hillside Road in 10125. Thank you, Mayor Attorney.
Thank you. Any questions at all from council? I see none. Then we can read the resolution.
Be it resolved that variation order number 2522 be granted a 1-year extension as per the requirements of section 101(2)A of the Planning Act for Southeast Quarter 10125E Bass.
Thank you. With that being read, if I can get a show of hands first, the question for those in support. That's unanimous, so carried. Then if we can go to the last item on the agenda there, it's bylaw 2609. It's a Springfield Zoning By-Law. This is the first reading. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that, please? Fuel and Warren.
Mayor Therrien, there is no report. This is just introduction of the first reading of the bylaw.
Okay. Any questions from council at all? Councillor Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the municipal board had some suggestions for our council, and 2 times we've been at this situation where they were not satisfied that the municipality did their due diligence in terms of consulting with the public, and at the last opportunity, we're very concerned. So I appreciate that council has the authority to begin a new bylaw process, but I am concerned that doing so with substantially the same document without any engagement to meaningfully address the concerns of the objections we know exist, it could reasonably be perceived by members of the public as an attempt to avoid the appeal rights and procedures framework that has governed this process since it began. Whether or not that is anyone's intention, public confidence in our decision depends not only on the following the letter of the law, but also on demonstrating fairness and respect for this process. Residents have invested years participating in this process under one set of rules. Before we decide to abandon the existing bylaw and start over with a new number, maybe some would call it lipstick, I believe council should carefully consider whether such a step could undermine public trust or create the impression that we are changing the rules because we dislike the consequences of the existing ones, that being that of the municipal board. I want my concerns about that perception to be part of the public record. At the end of the day, residents are entitled to have confidence that rules governing a process will not be changed simply because the existing framework has become inconvenient. Regardless of the outcome, I think there is value ensuring that concerns respecting procedural fairness and public confidence are openly discussed and reflected in the record. As all of us know, we all attended the public engagement or hearing from the municipal board some weeks ago. There were at least 32 individuals who were going to speak to the municipal board about concerns. There's some 52 changes that frankly have not been fully addressed. And here we are going down a path to, again, put lipstick on an old bylaw and pretend it's a new one with the relevant scrutiny from the public and even council itself. The municipal board, we can't make light of it. We can't toss aside their concerns. These are legitimate concerns from a provincial body that said council did not do it properly. And yet here we want to move forward and propose a new bylaw with the same information and say to the public, 2125 bylaw is dead, doesn't have any relevance. Yet the new one contains how much difference from the old one? And yet we did not engage the public like the municipal board absolutely incited us for we must do this. We must do this. So I would like to make a motion that when resolution bylaw 2921 goes to the public hearing, that each presenter shall receive 15 minutes to make their presentation. Given the length of this very important bylaw, residents must have the time to express themselves and inform council of their questions and concerns. And frankly, beyond that, why aren't we allowing the new council, whoever that might be, I might not be here, certainly the mayor isn't going to be because he's not running, and we will have a new mayor and new leadership. And so I think it's integral for us to use the next 3 months to gauge the public, to see that they're fully engaged, fully aware of what bylaw 2609 proposes. And I don't use this as a delay tactic. I use this as an instrument to ensure the public absolutely embrace it. We already know 32 separate residents have concerns with this, and actually hundreds more do, because we know that there was a great deal of opposition to it. To overlook that, Councillor Fuel and Councillor Warren, because you guys are potentially running, and I know Councillor Kaczynski and myself, we should not overlook the importance of engaging with the public. We have 3 months until a new council is in this place. I plead with you to take and reflect on what the municipal board has said to us. We did not go through this process properly, and to put lipstick on it is not going to make it right. And that's kind of my position.
Any other comments? Councillor Kaczynski?
Thank you. I would like to make a motion and to resolution when the new bylaw 2609 goes to the public hearing, that each presenter shall receive 15 minutes to make their presentation. Given the length of this very important bylaw, residents must have time to express themselves and inform council of their questions and concerns.
Now, Councillor Miller just said the same thing. Are you reading from a document there, a prepared document?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I second the motion.
So 15 minutes per person?
That's correct.
At a public hearings, what are we, is it 10 or 15? 10 minutes? I don't know how we could be put into 15 minutes there. We have to, we've been going through this for 8 years, and we've heard many times the process there. So to say that there's a resolution there to say how much time people are going to get, I think that's not correct. I don't know how we could, our process is 10 minutes. So to give another 15 minutes, why? When we're very flexible in that time as well. We don't say 10 minutes and then to cut off the mic and go sit down. We're very flexible in that. So to say 15 minutes, yeah, we'll look at the resolution. But in my opinion, I think that has taken the control out of the chair's hand, which is myself there, and I think that's not a proper way of governing, in my opinion. I want to address some of Councillor Miller's comments there before we do the resolution there. We've been engaging with the public on this matter for 8+ years. The two times now there, the first was when we appeared, I'm not good with the dates, with February of 23, I believe. There, we were prepared to go to the municipal board, and we had agreed with council present and our council, our lawyer, there, that we felt that the 53 changes is a major changes there. So thus, we all agreed that that would be done. So that's the first time. The second time was just last month there, where the term was by two people of the entire RM there that said it was very confusing. Well, of course it is confusing there, but I at no point there was it so confusing that it had to stop. So my opinion is that I think I'm all for democracy, and I adhere to the
You pig.
that was Mr. Giesbrick that just said, "F you, you pig." So I want that addressed there. We'll address that. So for clarity, Mr. Giesbrick has just said, "F you, pig."
Not untoward you.
Yeah,
Not
somebody else.
untoward
Okay,
you,
that's enough.
sir.
Get him out of
That's
there.
your personal
Just
thing.
remove him. Ignorant. I wonder why I do this job. Just start to wonder. Taking crap like that. Okay, so the confusing part there, of course, it's confusing. Was it confusing to the point that we could not look at the zoning bylaw? Like I say, this is 8 years in the making, so it's the same document in whole and point there. So just us addressing under a new bylaw name is getting the confusing part out of it. It's making for a clean slate. But the zoning itself, we've spent quite a bit of money for this. The public trust is there. I don't see any perception that the public trust is not there for this council at all. I think that's a perceived subjective term used by Councillor Miller. It is not a subjective term, and never have I ever seen anybody saying that there's a public trust apart from a few people that every meeting we have, there's a perception of that. So we had the resolution for addressing the issues. 4 matters were addressed in one of our meetings there, and we resolved that, and it was done correctly. Where the people we had everybody together here, and over a couple of hours, we were able to resolve these 4 major issues there, and I thought that was an epic moment there, where it was done correctly. There, it was done in a good, respectful manner. So that was the vast majority of the major components of that. Again, we're going to be able to do this public hearing, whatever date that might be, in 27 days. Then we can discuss this in more detail. So the public once again will have an opportunity to address this. Councillor Warren?
Yep, okay, I'm on. I just want to say that it is important to hear the residents once again. Going forward with, instead of it being bylaw 2125, where people were confused, I have to admit that. With a new number and the way that it's put out there, I mean, the planning department and our consultants did a good job. I'm not going to say that it was a bad job. I'm also going to say that, yeah, there are some things in this bylaw that some people are still looking at. And that's what a public hearing is for. When it comes time for the public hearing, which would be the next time, I gather, or whenever it may be, it's really important to listen to the residents and make sure that we have all of our notes written down, and just listen. Like, no extra commentary, just listen and write it down and move forward. This has been 8 years. This started before this council. Our development plan is newer, and we're still using bylaw 0801. We need to move forward, and like, yes, the public hearing is where the residents once again can come in here and say, and listen, last time when we had a public hearing, it went for 2, it continued, right? It wasn't just one, it continued, because there was a lot of people that still had lots to say. So we're not blocking people out, we're going to listen again. That's all I gotta say.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I totally agree with Councillor Warren. I looked and listened to the municipal board. I was there. To me, it was more about technicalities. We didn't have the 53 changes, not in a resolution from council. We were told that many versions were confusing. They needed a clean copy, so it became very confusing. So I again say yes. Let's bring it forward. Let's have the public open house or the public open hearing. Bring it in. We need to bring this in line with our development plan. It's time. It's been 8 years. I've been on both councils. Again, openness, listening to the public hearing and what the people are saying. I'm all open to that, but we need to get moving forward. And this is a way of doing it. Clean it up, come out with 2609 and bring it in line with our our development plan. Thank you.
Councillor Kaczynski?
And that's what the public was asking all along. So how come outside body telling us we're not doing correctly? Who's going to take responsibility for it? We cannot blame public for it because they want to speak to the council. We have to listen to them and do it what they asking us to do. We cannot just say, yeah, we know better because, we're serving our residents here. We're not upper body against the residents. We have to be with the residents continuously. So till we get it right and the resident gonna be satisfied, then this thing never gonna go forward.
And I think oops, sorry. Go ahead, sorry, Andy.
So I would say we have motion on the floor. Let's vote on it and hope for the best that we can solve this problem and everybody is gonna be satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, if we can get the wording of the resolution there. Did you give a copy to Colleen there? Somebody want to read this?
So just confirm who moved the motion? Okay, so moved by Councillor Miller and seconded by Councillor Kaczynski. I motion to make a resolution that when bylaw 2609 goes to public hearing, that each presenter shall receive 15 minutes to make their presentation. Given the length of this very important bylaw, residents must have time to express themselves and inform council of their questions and concerns.
With that being read, pose the question for those in support with the show of hands. That's Councillors Warren, Miller, Kaczynski, and Fuel. Those opposed, Mayor Therrien, the show passed. If we can get back to this. Okay, so bylaw 2609, the Springfield zoning bylaw, the first reading.
So I've got moved by Councillor Fuel and seconded by Councillor Warren.
Yes.
Be it resolved that first reading be given to bylaw number 2609, being the RM of Springfield zoning bylaw to regulate and control the use and development of land and buildings, also known as the RM of Springfield zoning bylaw.
With that being read, if I get the show of hands, those in support. That's Warren, Fuel, and Therrien. And those opposed, that's Miller and Kaczynski. It is so passed. Time is now 9:57. Get a mover and a seconder to go into to adjourn, please. Warren and Fuel. Show of hands. Unanimous. We are adjourned at 9:57. Thank you.